to see if he was barefoot. Is that still the case? Is he barefoot? Because I know on Facebook somebody posted a picture of these could be his shoes, or is that so he is presumed to be barefoot at this point?
What I can say is that his mom says all of his shoes are accounted for at the house. I'm not going to say that he's barefoot.
All right.
Allegedly!
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. Here's a brief disclaimer for tonight's show. Let's watch.
That's ignorant! Allegedly, that's ignorant! Ignorant.
Judgment, officer.
Oi, you read my thoughts. You've got the shinin.
You mean shining?
Shh, you wanna get sued?
Judgment, officer.
You just use that shin of yours to call me and I'll come a-running. But don't be reading my mind between 4 and 5. That's Willie's time.
Hey, yo, boss. I love him when he does that.
Let's watch.
Don't get me back to good bullshit.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you guys tonight. Thank you for being here, Little Miss Sharon, and hitting that like button. I also saw Show Poodles. Thank you, Show Poodles. Sabrina, Detroit Rock City. Thank you for being here. I also saw GA64. Good evening. And CC, thank you for being here. Hope Floats. Good to see you. And GA64, Deanna, good to see you. Holly S, nice to see you. Thank you for the green hearts. And Little Miss Sharon says, here we go, dragons. You guys are awesome. Also, Poppy Love, good to see you, Poppy Love. Denise Harris, Linda Hall. And I also see Social Butterfly, good to see you. Baba Rose and Let's see here. Talks to Angels, good to see you. And Cinderella, also good to see you. And thank you for the green hearts, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll put all the green hearts up. Brenda Culvert, good to see you. Hey, perfectly imperfect boy mom. Happy yes, happy Labor Day. We were up earlier and everyone was saying happy Labor Day. I think I forgot to say it. So thank you. And hey, couponing, good to see you. Ooh, homemade rice and shrimp. Uh-oh. I had burgers today on the grill. Did you guys grill out today or what did you guys do for Labor Day? Social Butterfly says Fred and Wilma Pearl Flintstone slag. Oh my goodness. Wilma Mother, CP, CB Clan. Oh boy. Does Chris ever get upset with when they bring up the parents, right? In this interview, that's what really stuck out to me. And when I was redoing it, I realized I had to change it up a little bit because I didn't really quite understand all of the monetization. I didn't even know if I was going to be monetized at this time, guys. I'm pretty sure I wasn't even there yet when I made these videos that we're going to review. So some of the commentary might be spot on, some of it might not be. In this interview, I kind of listened back a little bit to what I had put out earlier. I did take out the portion where Chloe PI is talking about Katie's relationships in the neighborhood. I've heard mixed comments on that. Even Bobby the neighbor came out and talked about it and that it had caused problems. So I kind of just, and I've said it before, I don't care who bangs who, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to be as, less graphic as possible and silly as possible because I think it's a silly subject. And I don't want to hear about other people and their life, their love life. We'll just put, their love life, McLovins. I don't need to hear about it. And and it doesn't interest me, unless it was something where like Katie was seen sneaking out of the house with some guy in the middle of the night. That would be a different story, but that's not the case, right? And I just don't feel comfortable speculating on it. But that's about all I think that I took out of the interview. Um, I want to slow it down just a little bit because I think I sped it up to save time in the video. So I want to kind of go over that. But Chris comes flying in, right? He comes flying in and during this interview isn't happy about them talking about his parents going to Alaska. Now, I don't understand why that was such a touchy subject, but we'll find out that there's other things too that's upsetting to Chris about the whole interview in general. But really, I wanted to focus on what Chloe PI was saying because she brought up some really important points. And when we were going over the first 7 days, I thought it was interesting to, go over. So he came in like a wrecking ball. He did. He did. He was like, I I don't know. It was like an explosion. It really was. It really was. It was like he's here, all of a sudden. And I use the depiction from Stephen King's It because I mean it was just scary. Like Chloe was visibly scared, right? I have mixed reviews. We're gonna talk about Chloe and Heather PI because I think it's worth talking about, and I don't know how many people are talking about this still, but I'd like to re-examine it. Hey, Retha Bell, good to see you in shadow. Hey, Meow, number 29, thank you. Thank you for the green hearts, Retha Bell, too. So, yeah, I mean, I just kind of want to go over it again because there's a lot of subjects that, we can kind of cooperate a little bit through Chloe. Now, I don't know that I completely trusted what Chloe's intentions are. It's hard to kind of gauge it, in my opinion. I was kind of looking for your help tonight on that to try to gauge, what her motivations are or were at the time. I should say were at the time. Um, because she seems to be pretty neutral in my opinion, and I don't know. We'll see what you guys think, but she starts out kind of talking about the different subjects, and of course, Trisha at Web Sleuths is the host, along with her sidekick, I think, that comes on the show with her quite a bit. Right, and they talk a lot of different true crime cases, but in this case, they were having Chloe on as a guest because I think they have, Trisha has worked with Chloe in the past, so she was familiar with her. So now I have the visual of CP on the wrecking ball. Oh gosh, no, I totally got I totally got Felicia Gross, and now I have Chris. So thanks, GA64. That's hilarious. Oh my goodness. That's great. He did too. That would have been a great thumbnail. Okay. You guys don't give me any bad ideas over here. I have enough of my own. No, I'm just kidding. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting when we go back over it. So, without further ado, I'm gonna kind of just start playing it. Oh, there's Justin. Oh, wrong one. I wanted the first one. Sorry, guys. I actually wanted this first one. Share this one. There we go.
Yes, it's Chloe. She is the private investigator for Sebastian Rogers. Chloe and Heather, you've probably seen Heather on the news, and Chloe. Heather is taking the night off. She has well-deserved rest time coming. And poor Chloe, we are not letting her take the night off. We hogtied her and forced her to be here. So
No.
Now Sebastian Rogers went missing toward the end of February. He went missing. It was a Sunday night, Monday morning.
Right. So
And
between midnight and 6.
right.
Of the 26th.
There's lots of cameras in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But they haven't, that we know of, nobody caught Sebastian leaving the house, right?
Correct. Yes. We had a meeting with Sumner County a couple weeks ago, and they're baffled.
Like this.
He's seen getting home, and then he's never seen
They
again.
didn't take out the garbage or do something.
Yeah, trash out.
So they saw him doing that, but they didn't see him leave.
Ever again. No.
When was the last time that Sebastian was seen by people other than family members?
It's my understanding it would have been the people at Texas Roadhouse.
Which was Sunday.
Saturday, he was at Costco. And we confirmed that with that receipt. And then Sunday was a day full of activities.
Right.
Yeah, so the last place he went before he went home was Texas Roadhouse.
That's the last confirmed sighting, the people that weren't related.
Right.
He's on camera apparently taking some garbage out, and there's cameras all over that neighborhood.
Yes.
But nobody has seen him leave.
No.
Now, Katie is Sebastian's mom, and Seth is Sebastian's father. Chris Proudfoot is his stepfather.
Right.
What can you tell us about his, I guess, alibi, you would call it? When was Chris seen last? He was out of town. Can you run that down for us, please?
I don't know when Chris was seen last, besides the source that tells us he was at the job site at 5:15 a.m. on the 26th, which was about a little less than an hour before Sebastian was reported missing.
He was where? A little less than an hour before he was reported missing?
He was at his job site at St. Jude's in Memphis. He's
February 26th, okay.
He's a crane operator.
Right.
When he was last seen, though, before that was 8 p.m. His vehicle was seen after that at his RV, but him physically being seen was 8 p.m. the night before.
But the police have never indicated in any way, shape, or form that they thought Chris had driven home or there was anything nefarious, correct?
They haven't indicated much of anything. Honestly, they've said that the family's been cooperative, and that's it. They dodge questions about timelines and alibis and things like that.
You mean the police do?
Yes.
What, Chloe?
Okay, guys. So really quick, I just want to pop in there. So even with Chloe, they were kind of dodging the questions, right? But then again, there are some things that Chloe isn't going to disclose to us. And, you know, she really got beat up by Chris Proudfoot verbally. You know, when it came to what she disclosed and what she didn't disclose on this episode of Web Sleuths, right? So I just kind of want to remind everybody this is part of why Chris goes off on Heather talking about Chloe, right? Like just saying the most horrible things that was leaked out. And I think some of it was even played today. So who is this lady interviewing? So this is Chloe PI. So this is one of Seth's PIs with Heather Cohen. So these are the two that he hired in the beginning. Hey Kiki, good to see you. Hey Haunting Hope, good to see you guys. Adam Forever 21, so good to see you. Welcome Indiana. Retha Bell, I said hi to Retha Bell. I believe Kelly, good to see you. I think I got all you guys, I hope. So yeah, this is back in April 2024. And, you know, basically people are just wanting to know more about what happened, you know, and Chloe is kind of giving people a rundown, right? And of course, the first thing that Trisha here asks, and guys, you know, I'm not a big fan of Trisha, and I don't usually like to review people that I don't uh agree mostly with, right? Because I just don't want to start a bunch of drama and crap, you know, and it's not her fault that, you know, Chris came up here acting a fool and, you know, that we again want to review this, right? And do I watch Trisha? Not a whole lot. Hey, C Star, just to be completely honest with you guys, right? I just, you know, I mean, but I do think this is a really valuable interview with Chloe, you know, very, very valuable. And I think that Chris does show a lot of his true colors and how he reacts when there's, you know, a panel full of women. And then even when, um, you know, Gray, I was about to say the other way, Hughes, I'll be careful. If it pops out, it pops out, guys. And if you hang out over at Josh's, you guys probably know what I was about to say. Um, you know, and I kind of handed him his ass as well because of some of the things that are going to be said. But this might be a couple parters because we're going to go over it. Um, Either way, when Gray comes up, he says some questionable things. I'm not a fan, you know. I mean, like I said, I think everybody can bring something to the table, right? So as long as they're trying to find Sebastian, you know, I'm all for it. Show poodles. Bell knows. I mean, I almost said it, you know what I mean? And it's not, it might pop out an accident. I swear if it happens, I try not to do it, right? But it just, it's funny. But you know, I don't agree with any of it. And it really gets, this is a wild interview, guys. This is a wild interview. So again, I can't throw shade at Trisha because it's so wild. And she's friends with Fishy. Yeah, yeah. Which is it's you know, gosh, it's horrible. So Josh's BFF Kiki. Oh my goodness. So yeah, and I almost said it, so it's too funny. But yeah, no, but getting in all seriousness, this is a really good interview to watch with kind of getting to know what's going on in Sumner County. So they're kind of being, you know, even tight-lipped with Chloe. And then I just want to, you know, point out that there's some things that, you know, Chloe wasn't being truthful, you know, at all about, in my opinion, and one of them was that Seth had said that he had fallen asleep during his lie detector test, and he readily said that, and then she's like, well, I saw something with his name next to it that said that, and I was like, oh, come on, we got to be honest here, right? So, and I said it in my video way back when too. I was a little bit just everybody's going to disappoint each other. We're all going to disappoint each other. But I was a little bit like taken back, like, damn, because, once I find somebody to be uncredible, it's tough to get credibility back. But I don't completely fault her for that, because she was trying to, do the best for Seth. So, I just, this is a really tough one to review, guys. But, I'm going to try my best to be honest and, forthright with my commentary. And hey, WV Holler Girl, good to see you. It's funny. I know. Well, it's too funny, Kiki, because like, we get used to saying these things, and then I'm being silly. I'm always silly like that, though. Yeah, I think it's very questionable. Well, and she was kind of taken off guard, because I think maybe she didn't realize how upset Chris was going to be, and then she's kind of explaining to him, how it works. You know, Little Red had said it earlier in the chat earlier today. She said, whenever, and we've talked about it here, whenever we don't have the full picture, we start to kind of try to, get the full picture. And, our brains are automatically going to try to fill in the blanks. And, they didn't really like that too much. We'll come to see. But here's more Chloe.
Is going on is a vetted source that said that he was at his job, and then his truck was seen at the RV on, was it Monday morning, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
And
he was seen
he was seen, okay,
at his job site at
on Monday.
5:15 in the morning.
Okay. Nobody's cleared. The police have been very clear about that absolutely nobody has been cleared, basically. But they haven't said that anybody is a suspect either. You must get frustrated when the police won't.
Extremely frustrated.
Yeah, when the police won't release anything. It was very contentious there in the press with Seth Rogers, Sebastian's bio dad, and Chris Proudfoot, Sebastian's stepfather. Well, recently, Seth and Chris talked together.
Right.
And they have decided to work together.
Right.
However, Seth came out and said that if people basically didn't like it, they could F off.
Right.
And
actually, Chris came to the vigil before it started.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he approached Seth.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Not the most recent one that we did last night, but the one last weekend. My discussions with him.
Hey guys, I just want to pop in really quick, just so everybody knows, there were vigils held all over for Sebastian. None of those vigils were attended by the Proud Feet, right? They were not in attendance. They did not show up. The only one that Chris showed up to, not Katie, but Chris, was the one that they're talking about. And it's pretty well known clip of Seth saying, if you guys don't like that, you could F off and things. He was very shaken visibly. And honestly, it's awful, in my opinion. It's just awful. But I just want to, point that out too. Also, there is a video that's circulated around. We played it here, of Heather Cohen talking to the guy who said that Chris Proudfoot was there at 5:15 a.m. In my opinion, after listening to and reviewing that, I came to the conclusion that that guy was probably putting on a show for Chris Proudfoot, probably told to say those things, in my opinion, right? It was pretty staged, very foul like language when it came to him talking to a lady. Hey, Sweetsy. I agree with that too. I think retired detectives are a good source of information. I really do. I really do. Now, we're all just people. We all have our own opinions, but Cece says, I've sent you all of my hype stars, whatever they whatever they mean. Oh, thank you, Cece. I don't know what those are. And I'm like, okay, should I hype people's videos? What do I do with that? I've never done it, Cece. Thank you for doing that. Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you. Yeah, a vetted source. I know, Kiki. And that's the thing. I don't know what to think of Chloe. I don't know what to think. Besides she was just kind of going along, but even Heather Cohen makes me wonder if there wasn't information being leaked out. There was that weird statement, when Mr. Proudfoot did go off on Heather and she was like, well, they're not going through information, they're not giving me any information. They're going through Seth now. And he's like, well, if Seth opens it, that's when he made the comment about Seth opening his mouth, he'll never open it again if he shares what Bobby and Carter have shared with them, which who knows what that even is. And another thing is too, it just seems like a reason to you know threaten somebody, in my opinion. Aretha says, show poodles, I rethink everything. Did anyone really go to Alaska? Everything is questioned. Well, yeah, Aretha. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, is he going up there getting up in arms to throw us off too? It could be a psychological mind F, in my opinion. C-Star says that's a naive statement in my opinion. Chloe and Trisha are clueless in my opinion. Right? C-Star? I mean, I can understand where you would think that, especially as we look back, right? Especially as we're looking back, because I really don't know how much Trisha actually knew about this um, case. I think maybe she had watched. There's some indicators that she had watched, like the Smiley Stories interview, because she talks a lot about Chris using the belt on Sebastian. But in terms of her actually studying the case and then having Chloe up, I don't think that happened. No, I really don't. The one you showed early today, Lady Freedom, was in their community at church in a super neutral. Oh, okay, thank you. It's super neutral church. I don't think they even went to that one. I don't think so either, Holly S. I think you're right. I think it was just like the community coming together at a church. Yeah, I think you're right. And a lot of people just felt like they wanted to reach out. I mean, Sebastian's teachers, it was the same way. They all wore green, like all the kids were coming to school. Hey, my mommy told me to wear green for Sebastian, or I want to wear green. It was beautiful the way everybody came together like that. The first week, I think people were definitely side-eyeing the Proud fee, as they should have been. But I've also heard it alleged, guys, and this is only alleged because I don't have direct knowledge of this, right? So it is alleged that Chris was home, right? But here lately, I've been kind of playing that, what Katie wants to say is what Katie said, right? She said she was the only one home. Her husband was out of town at work. But that's not what people in the town have said. We think about where geofencing was brought in and Chris's truck, and he came up on that other panel, just came flying up like he did. He has more pull over there with those guys, of course. But what was Elevated Goof about to share? What was he about to share? Because he was going to share something, and they all flew up there. It was like they bombarded the live stream. Show poodles, it is so hard to believe anything liars say. In my opinion, I do not deal with liars in my life. Have I told a white lie? Of course, yes. Your shoes are cute, etc. But not a lie about consequential, things. Well, sure, show poodles. I get what you're saying. That's why I would say, like we all lie and stuff like that. If it's not to hurt someone's feelings or something like that, or if there's a lot of uncomfortable truths, right? um it's kind of about being polite and courteous as well in the same way. But something like this, for someone to have lied for so long, I mean, and I've said it before too, like any way we slice it, Sebastian's gonna need justice. Whether we find him, like at a school, say, like I know a lot of people theorize about that. I have too. Like if he is there, he's been away from his family and he's been probably scared and missing them, right? So I mean, he's gonna need justice forever. Whoever put him there, whoever made that happen, right? Because he obviously didn't do it on his own. And we'll kind of go in that when Chloe's going to talk about it. Um thank you. Thank you so much. Kiki says love hearing your take, lady, on the stuff from first. Yeah, thank you. Like I mean, I've changed a little bit, but when I go back and listen, which I it's hard to listen to yourself talk, it really is. But I kind of am in the same boat with some things I'm not anymore. So it's interesting to go back and listen to that. Fun fact, I got banned out of the Web Sleuths chat room. Oh no, around the year 2000. Holly S. That's hilarious. Oh no. Dare I ask what it was for? Deanna, the money. We gotta follow the money, guys. Wow, Holly. May it be a badge of honor. Show poodles. I don't know. They probably don't like me too much because I was disagreeing a lot, and I typically don't review, but it's more or less all of the people that Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot went on, that those are people that I wouldn't typically listen to. Not to be rude, I'm not, to each his own. And I'm sure there's been a lot of good lives. I'm sure, I'm trying to be neutral. But I've never watched them because I've only really watched of any of Trisha's lives like this one. I've reviewed it a bunch of times, like listening to it again to find some things, like comparing things and that sort of Kiki back when the internet made that sound. You've got mail, and then it's you've been blocked. Oh no. Holly, yes. I don't know why anybody would block you though, Holly. You're really, really good. You have good comments. Hey, Nisi Marie, good to see you. Aw, thank you. No, we're not giving up at all. Nope. Nope, not giving up at all. Robin 407. Good to see you. Proudfoot's brought them all out, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, they did. Well, and he for whatever reason, hey Seth, good to see you. For whatever reason, he absolutely loves to bring the drama where he goes. Like he does. He'll be like, okay, let me fly up there and see. And then he was calling Trisha bad names like web sluts and stuff. I mean, that was like the rudest thing. See, that's the thing that Chris Proudfoot does and says about women. He calls her that. And this is a lady, she's legitimately so nice to him, you guys. She really was. She was like, "It's okay, Chris. That's how people get." And, I mean, he was wretched. Like I would have had to kick him off. I've never kicked anybody off of my panel yet. Knock on wood. I don't want to have to do that. But I would if they started acting like that. Holy cow, I wouldn't be able to keep them up. GA64 says the rumor was that someone called CP to let him know about this live. I wondered about that GA64 because like you'll start seeing Chloe, she starts being kind of like not that she's not listening, but she's also attending to her phone. So she starts like going, and talking on her phone, it looks like. So but yeah, I don't know what hype stars are, but they are positive to your wonderful channel. Thanks. Aw, Cece, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. Okay, so that hyping it up is a good thing, right? I see how it works. Yeah, I was afraid it said hype up, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted to leave a comment. But okay, that's really cool. Thanks, Cece. Um, thinking about you and Sebastian always, says Social Butterfly. Thank you, Social Butterfly. You guys are awesome. Hey, mom of three boys. Good to see you. Aw, thanks, Cece. And Meow, good to see you, Meow. Thanks, Nisi. Hey, Mama Bear. Chris only went to the area if that vigil to speak to Seth. He did not attend the vigil for Sebastian, left after talking with Seth to go shop for motorcycles with Katie. Yes, Mama Bear. That is the way I see it as well. Yeah, I mean, and that's what happened. And it's sad because that was the day that Sebastian was recognized. Right? And I mean, I don't care. I've had to stand next to my ex and he's had to stand next to me and we were both there, you know. It's just kind of what you do. Um Even if you don't like each other, it's cuz you're not there for each other anymore. You're just there to have, be support for the kids. Or the child. I mean, I only have one. Hey Deborah, good to see you. So I saw photos and comments on Facebook before Mr. Bowersox made her first profile private. Oh, excuse me, Mrs. Bowersox. Oopsie. Uh, yep. Okay, said they were there for Mr. Bowersox's work. Okay, yeah. I mean, I've looked at a couple of the photos. You know what? I was so taken back. I really don't remember looking at everything as thoroughly. I got really grossed out, Brenda Calvert, when I saw that there were no pictures of Sebastian at all. And then I was looking at Disney and I'm like, wait a minute, that would have been in the time frame of when they would have all went. And I was so disgusted. I had to leave. My disdain would be far worse if I stayed, I think. But I just I couldn't handle it. Like looking at that. You never leave a child out of anything. Anything. It doesn't matter. That's really sick. It's sick in the head, right? It just is. I still have been in disbelief of the dispatch and Ellie saying, let's go out, or excuse me, let's do our own search. Right there is the conflict of interest, in my opinion. Well, yeah. I mean, so many things that they've done have been, in my opinion, a day late and a dollar short, right? A lot of the things also allowing for so many people to be traipsing around the crime scene because that's what Sebastian's home was, as a crime scene, right? I'm sorry, but he wasn't last seen in the area of Stafford Court either. We're going to get into that. He wasn't last seen in the area of Stafford Court. He was last seen by his mother Katie at 9 p.m. if we're to believe Katie, right? Oh, Seth says Chloe is a regular person on Web Sleuths, and I'm getting better, not 100%, but almost. Good, Seth. I know you were out there in that heat. Oh my gosh, hon. Uh, I mean, with the phones overheating, you just know it was hot. And then I saw your tan too. I bet you had a killer farmer's tan from standing out there. I'm glad that you were, though, Seth. I'm very, very glad. You know. We all were talking about Sebastian because of you, because of your advocacy for and your being his voice. So I appreciate you. Those also um, I mean, I don't know what to even call them. They're like big banners, but those banners are really beautiful, Seth. So I think I was dehydrated and possibly sun poisoning, had chills and fever Saturday and Sunday. Oh gosh, Seth. Yeah. I know. See that, and you don't even think about drinking as much water. I'm sure you had people talking with you and everything. I'm so sorry. I don't know if anybody checked the job site, Kiki. I don't know if anybody checked the job site. See, that's the thing. Um, we listened to the audio, right, of the guy who was talking to Heather, right, the other PI, and they were talking about just the different times, but he was being so rude and giving her like the runaround, right? And so instead of it just being a quick phone call where she asks him a yes or no question and he gives her, an answer, or if she said what time was Chris there and he just give her an answer, like he added in his own 2 cents and really muddied the waters where it's just like, I mean, yeah, we can decipher it, but it just sounds like something was staged there, in my opinion, with that phone call. Um, Hey, Coffee Crime and Cats says, Seth, I admire your persistence and fight for Sebastian. Yeah, Coffee Crime and Cats, thank you for being here, and I agree. I agree. Deborah Bennett says, Seth, dehydrated in a sunburn will definitely give you the chills and feel like a fever. Yeah, absolutely. Well, and stuff's going around too, it's always when school starts. It's always when the germs come out when school starts, it seems like anyway. Thank you, Robin. Linda Hall, we have had the flu, pneumonia, and COVID in my household. Oh my gosh, Linda, is that all from school starting? Oh my, I'm not kidding. I'm like, oh my Lord. Oh, Seth, please look after yourself too. Use an umbrella in the sun. Yeah, I was thinking, social butterfly, one of those like tents too, you know. Hopefully the weather, and they had a drought in Tennessee. Jen was telling me about that too. That's right. We're always going to talk about him, Kiki. Like I said, any way we look at it, he's going to need justice for what's going on. Thank you, perfectly imperfect boy mom. Prayers, Linda. Kiki knows what that's like. They were all sick too. Her family. Hey, Robini, good to see you. Oh, Robini in the chat, dabbing in the chat. I know. Oh, Deborah says, I'm not looking forward to the summer cold flu or coronavirus. Oh, I had COVID in 2020 in Las Vegas. Oh my goodness. Guys, I really don't even think I had COVID ever. Hey, Bo. I mean, I got a little sick when that happened, but hey, Bubby, good to see you. I'm doing good. How are you? How are you? We're just listening to these interviews again. The only thing lingering is the fatigue. I didn't get the COVID shots, and this is the first time ever with COVID. They can keep that one to themselves. I didn't have it either, Linda. I wasn't gonna say it, but if you'll admit it, I'll admit it. I did not have I didn't get vaccinated. My poor daughter, she's vaccinated to the gills, and I'll tell you what, she got it several times. I don't understand that, but it's the truth. Well, the stress, Mama Bear, the stress. You're right. You're absolutely right. Seth, start taking 1,000 milligram vitamins C daily. I take the emergency packets. Stress kills the immune system. I've had 3 colds and a flu bug in over a half a century, and credit to my daily vitamin C. You're under a lot of stress. Thank you, Mama Bear. That's so sweet of you. Yeah, and I think vitamin C has a lot to do with it. And it's not like it was just an issue with CP's kids because she had pics and a post of her daughter. I know. That's what was upsetting to me, perfectly imperfect boy mom. I saw that. I was completely turned off, and I just thought, "Oh, these ones are in on it too." That's what I was thinking. And I know she did privatize a lot of that stuff. Oh, totally, Deborah. Yeah, misogynistic narcissist. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And guys, I know some of the things that guys say, us women are like, "Oh geez, did they really say that?" No offense to the guys in the chat. But I mean, there are things that we're like, "Oh, and I get it. And there's things that we say that the guys cringe. It goes both ways. But, you know, Bubby says, "Hey, chatterbox and mods." That's cute. Um, Hydrate, Linda, drink. Yeah, drinks a lot of fluids is always good, guys. Water is really the best thing. And I know not a lot of people like to drink just straight water, but it is. It is the best thing. Sabrina says, Silver's on the scene, went to St. Jude's and spoke to Chris's workmates. Yes, yes, ma'am, he did. And they said that they wouldn't trust him. They don't even know he had a wife or had a stepson, and he didn't leave on his own. He was told. I agree, Sabrina. Yes. And see, people were doing their own sleuthing, right? They really were, and Silvers is one. And I believe Silvers. He doesn't have any reason to lie, right? He was just going and asking questions like anybody else would. I agree with that, Seth. I agree with that. Seth says, let's face it, the last place we can say Sebastian was seen is at the Texas Roadhouse. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my opinion, well, and you've said it too, Seth, but also, Bobby the neighbor looked at the trash can video, of somebody taking out the trash, right? Not the video people, were meant to believe it was a trash truck. But the video where someone is taking the trash can to the end of the driveway, I mean, that's not been confirmed, in my opinion. I wish they would show it to us so we can see it and see if we can enhance it if they're not going to try to enhance it. Well, we still need to look into, I agree, Adam. Forever 21 says FBI needs this, somehow it's going to happen. I think, we really need to look into the tender years policy through the FBI. I think that's a really good start, and that was Eric with an H had sent that in. Um, and I think that's a really good start because I think Sebastian does fit a lot of the criteria, in my opinion. Hey, Trishy, good to see you. Aw, good to see you, my friend. Aw, thanks, Trishy. Why has half the old stuff been deleted? Like I've tried looking up things from the beginning to analyze and poof. Well, I know. Well, I know. I'll have to see if you want any clips or something like that, Kiki. Look through my old ones. And if it's something specific, I can look through too. Like if I put music to the background of it or something, because some of that is copyrighted because I pay for it. Silver's on the scene did a video. He spoke to somebody at St. Jude. Yes, couponing. Good to see you. I did see that. And I took the screen grab of his little rundown that he made on that, and we went over it. I mean, and there's other people that are alleging that Seth, there's other people that are alleging that Chris was in the area that weekend, right? We still have the poker game, right? We still have that. We still have Saturday where they went to Costco. But that picture looks younger to me of Sebastian. I don't know, but it just looks younger. Linda Hall says, please take care of yourself, Seth. We all care about you, and Sebastian will definitely need you when he comes home. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Silvers did and BHB asked in general what time the crane operators go to work. They start at 7, so 6:30 to 6:45 is what was said by people at the work site. Yeah, that's the conclusion that I came to, Brenda. And that's just based on, what time they all start work, right? Because Chris wasn't up there in the crane operating it and, shouting out orders or whatever he does up there. I don't know. Hell if I know what a crane operator does. But I'm just saying he wasn't up there doing that when there's nobody to, tell him what to do or he tells what to do, right? There's no one else to work with. He's not up there. And he even said that. He said he was very animated and told that to Holly Thompson. Oh, I had one earbud over here and I had another earbud over here. No, you didn't. You lying sack. I mean, it's crazy. Poppy Love says, Seth, what do you think about the new DA? Have you had an opportunity to have a chance to connect with him yet? Oh, that's a good question, Poppy Love. And that reminded me because Jen brought that up too in the live. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. We stay healthy with all vitamins and anti-parasitics. No jabs here either, but prayers for all. Aw, thanks, Trishy. Yeah, I think it's so good. I think vitamins are good, and I do. I think all of that's good. You know, the sun is a real, I mean, like, even if I go to the beach and sit around the beach all day long, like the next day, I'm tired from the sun. You know, if I'm out in the sun, it just takes a lot out of you, you know? It's like too much vitamin D from the sun, need some vitamin C, you know? I agree with Peter Hyatt. Katie holds the key, Robin. We're going to hear that, you know, we are. We're about to hear it. No, I haven't seen a new photo of the guy watching. Which guy? The yellow jacket at the Texas Roadhouse? Social Butterfly? What? I have not, no, I have not seen that. I wonder why Chris is so silent now. He usually needs attention at least every couple of months. Lover girl. I guess he is scared to speak now. I think they've lawyered up, is my guess. I'm just guessing. I'm just guessing. Hey, Cinderella. Did I miss Cinderella? I guess I missed you up there, Cinderella. I'm sorry. Kiki, I'm going to send it to you now, but don't release them. We're going to do some comparisons to other photos. Just don't release the RV photos. Oh, okay. Interesting, interesting. No, I haven't seen the photos. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Nisi Marie. Just let me know, girl. Just tell me, like, be like confidential and yeah. I mean, obviously I know that now, but you know, anything. Guys, um I do not share everything I get, you know. I do kind of pick and choose just because, you know, it's important to kind of keep sources close. Someone pulled an interview way back at the start, and there was some stuff both KP and CP said. Now it's gone. Oh, social butterfly. Yeah, I think that's happened a lot of times. You know, I think that's happened a lot of times. He wasn't at the crane. Exactly. Social butterfly. He wasn't in the crane at 5 a.m. No, no way. And see, this is what Chloe's about to say. 5:15 a.m. And it's like, no, 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 no. It's so irritating how people hide interviews to protect CP and KP. Right. I have a lot of them though. I tried to be downloading as fast as I could, as much as I could. Um, if I would have known then what I know now, I would have known to get all of them. You know. Luckily, I do have people too that I can ask if they have them because some people are really good. Peter, I know. Trishy, yes. Legendary, for real. Absolutely. Oh, okay, Social Butterfly, thank you. Email you. Oh, days ago. Oh, you emailed me days ago? Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I finally got me Mima's, we finally got it. I got it today, actually. Okay. Oh, good, Cinderella. Hey, Mally Cat, good to see you. Retha, I really meant, not sure. I don't think Tommy. Yeah, I don't think about. No, I don't think it's Tommy. I don't. No, no. I wish it was. Deborah says KP using a flashlight ran something from the house to the other person who was waiting at the car who had a flashlight also. The person was very carefully avoiding CCTV cameras. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It all happened pretty fast, guys. It really did. Yeah. I do too. I do too. I'll be like, is this something you want me to share? You know, because I understand there's things that people do want me to see, but they don't want me to share it, right? Because and that's understandable. Because when you blast it out there, it's out there. The person waiting put the something into the truck, and the headlights were kept off. Yeah, that's very interesting, Deborah. Oh, thank you, Mally Cat, for gifting a Lady Freedom's Raw Narratives membership. If you got a membership from Mally Cat, make sure you say thank you and welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you. Mally Cat, you're awesome. It looks like someone, but it's not that person. Hmm. Hmm. KP tried to shrink into the wall, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, wow. Good evening, D for me. All right, guys, let's watch this. Wow, that's interesting.
And just from knowing what kind of verbiage he uses anyways, my impression is that it was, I know that everybody has a bad, not everybody, but a lot of people have a bad opinion of the Proudfoots because of social media. And I'm going to get some backlash about this, but this is about my son. So F anybody that's going to get in my way.
Right. Say, but
I mean,
that's
he's
right.
never told me to F off. He's never told his other private investigator to F off. He's never told his volunteers. He was not speaking to people that were helping him. I know a lot of people thought he was. That wasn't the case.
And the people that would give him grief for wanting to work with Chris Proudfoot.
Right.
rather
And
than
he
getting
got a lot
angry.
of grief for it.
Yeah. It is so hard to absorb and to deal with, all the while you're trying to look for a missing loved one. It is a horrific situation. And the fact that that Seth has held up as well as he has is amazing. Was the camper ever checked? I take it you're talking about Chris Proudfoot's camper or RV?
Yeah, do not have confirmation of that.
We have to assume that on things like that, that the police have checked everywhere. You know, you would assume that they have looked all through the camper. You would assume that they would have looked at Chris's parents' RV or camper. And, but again,
I have no
You
confirmation.
have no idea. You have no idea. We just have to assume, we have to assume the police have done their job in that sense. Seth has petitioned up to get the FBI to take over Sebastian's case. How come?
Well, the FBI has been involved, but he wants them to take over. I think he's just frustrated, which I understand.
Right.
Because we haven't had any results, you know.
Right.
So I understand his frustration. And I think that's really it, is he wants another jurisdiction to take over. I mean, of TBI in Sumner County. But yeah, they've been involved. I mean, Secret Service has been involved, and yeah, I mean, a lot of other jurisdictions have been involved with the boots on the ground searching as well. So, but his goal is to have them take over.
And again, Sebastian, according to Katie, disappeared sometime in the middle of the night. But supposedly there is no Ring camera showing Sebastian leaving, although there is Ring camera because the neighbors all have Ring cameras.
Yeah, I've mapped it.
Ring
I
cameras.
mapped, you know, the first 11 minutes of the dispatch. Once dispatch started at 6:39 a.m. for Sebastian, there's 11 minutes that were released, and then had a great volunteer transcribe them for me, which took her a very long time because it was chaos. But through that transcription, you can see where they're saying this address has a camera. I spoke to them. They looked at it, all this. And so I made a map just from that dispatch. There's probably more cameras than that. It was only the first 11 minutes, you know, and there's a lot of cameras.
But yet the police have said that there is no footage of Sebastian. Have they actually come out and said that to Seth?
I was actually watching one of the older press conferences. I think it was from the 29th of February. And they were, I mean, the look on their faces, first of all, they were just baffled. But they said they haven't had any confirmed sighting of him on camera. or at all. Katie and Chris have both said at different times the door was locked. They also, in the initial dispatch, when they're calling out the details to officers, say the door is locked. I wasn't there. And Katie's also said that Sebastian has a habit of immediately locking the door behind him. That was stated after everyone was really confused about that. Well, and Chris has said that he had not seen Sebastian since early February. Yeah, I mean, so I walked through the construction site, which people that have been following this case closely know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's right next door to their subdivision. Probably half of the subdivision next door has been built, but then there's still like a big construction site in the back. So I walked that last night, actually, after the vigil at like 9:30 p.m. And it's very dark in a construction site. You definitely need a flashlight. But once you get into that subdivision, it wasn't as dark as I expected it to be. I'm not saying that means a Ring camera would pick you up. But there's a lot of, I mean, a good majority of the houses have some sort of lighting on. And I'm assuming it's always like that. I don't know if they're turning them on now because of what's going on, but a lot of them have, you know, the uplit stuff on the brick or floodlights or.
And guys, really quick, I just want to, you know, reiterate that we can see that very well in the videos that the mob crew has shown, like this one, where everything's lit up from even the ground, right? And then they have the really bright lights around. And that's bright because of obviously there's, you know, the headlights. The headlights are bright. Very big, bright headlights, right? The ones that trip these off over here, these motion sensor lights, right? You see that little flashlight back there? That's just a still shot. But, you know, you can really tell. I mean, look at how bright that is. The whole garage is lit up, right? Because they all have, you know, nice vehicles. Some of them had ATVs in the driveway and things like that. So, but yeah, Kiki, the Secret Service was brought in. The card team was brought in, right? Hey, Ann, good to see you, hon. C-Star connect the dots. Exactly. Exactly. In Katie's haste to get back in the house after flashlights, car thing, she locked the back door behind her out of habit. Oops, in my opinion. Right? I mean, you know, the thing is she says everything was locked up tight, you know. Gag me with a spoon, Robbie. You guys, the Valley Girl over there. So, Holly S, hopefully yours will calm down soon. Oh. Gosh, it was almost a full moon. Show poodles, great point. I thought the same thing when I was watching this little bit earlier today. I keep remembering that. That was one thing. I believe it was Chris from Mob that pointed that out. And he's like, hey, just so everybody knows, it was a full moon that night. So visibility was even higher than usual. I will, social butterfly. Let me take a look right now. Deborah says if everything was locked up tight, then Sebastian would need a key on his flashlight ring. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, because there was a house, you know, right across the street that had Ring doorbell footage, right? So did they listen to LE, like example, we've got we don't need any help. Well, and that's what they keep on saying, Kiki. I mean, they're like, we got it, you know, we don't need anybody helping us. Waxing gibbous, right? Waxing gibbous. Thank you, Shadow. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, a full moon and pitch darkness in the neighborhood, right? But it really wasn't pitch black. I mean, and I teased Katie about that too, because she's like, it's really dark there at night. And I'm like, well, it's really dark everywhere at night, Katie, you know, ha ha ha. Hardy har har. But really, I mean, really. But look how well lit. That's probably not a good depiction. This one is though, because right? I mean, really, really bright. And even this one is pretty good because you can still see like if somebody's lurking around your car and stuff like that, right? It's still a pretty good video. And we see those other lights in the distance, right? And then the one that's circled. And then we see the vehicle. So, yeah. Thank you, Show Poodles. Mob Crew pointed it out. Hey, IML. Yeah, see, there's a lot of organizations that aren't going to work with someone who hasn't been cleared IML. Yeah, I've heard that too. And that's a huge issue. Like, it's ridiculous, but Eric Craddock wants to keep it tight to, everything to himself, in my opinion. I don't see how that's helping. And we're 18 months in, you know? Deborah says, which is why they use the back area behind the houses to meet up with the flashlights. Right. Right. It is so sad, Deanna and Mally Cat. Yeah, he didn't even have a coat on at the Texas Roadhouse, and many others did. Even Katie had one, She had one. Yeah, Deborah says, well, you don't need a coat just to take the trash from the garage to the outside. It's not that cold. Right. Exactly. Well, and you know how, even boys are, but even I said it with my daughter, there's been times where I've been like, where is your coat? Oh, I don't need a coat. I'm not cold. I'm like, okay. So I kind of don't put as much into it, but I mean, because sometimes they're just like that. Nisi Marie says she had to say it was dark, so dark. Why make that statement if not outside in the dark? Big red flag to me, allegedly. That's true, Nisi Marie. That's true. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I agree. And it's all a red flag because they don't want us to look at this video. This is their big, the big deal. This caused a big deal. So, yeah, why would he put it on just to run the trash out? Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Robini. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And, even Seth was saying, he doesn't really believe that that was Sebastian taking the trash out. We don't know. Craddock keeping and investigate, excuse me. Craddock keeping investigatory information tight is one thing, but not a single press release or call to action or update in over a year. Absolute disrespect to the community he serves. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, KJ Mac, and I'm glad that you did say that because I do agree that we're not owed anything, right? The public isn't. And there's things that, they're gonna want to keep close to the vest, but I don't understand why they can't just come out and talk about some of the things or lay some rumors to rest or, really help us out with things, right? Just so we can get it right. Um, I wish they would. You're okay, Retha Bell. No worries. No worries. But yeah, I agree with that. It's a phony story, Adam Forever 21 says. I agree. I mean, it just doesn't add up. Thank you, IML. It doesn't add up. Hey Faye, good to see you. What confuses me is KP says while explaining about Sebastian allegedly taking the trash, which I don't believe, that it was caught on camera by her car. Seth said video was he saw was on the ring, it was too grainy. Yeah, and so did Bobby the neighbor. She talked about that too. I mean, everybody that's looked at that video besides Katie and Eric Craddock told that to Chloe that it's Sebastian on the video. But we've heard from other sources that they didn't think so. One being his dad and I mean, you know your child, their mannerisms. You just know your child. I mean, I'd know my child anywhere. Um, Good point, KJ Mack. Yeah, that statement about the darkness was a relevant detail. It piqued my interest when she said it. Yeah. I mean, it did me too. And I was just kind of like, well, yeah, it's dark. And, you know, of course. But then people were like, no, there's no lights. And I was like, oh, okay. But still, like where there's no lights, people put lights, right? Like in the garden, they'll put those solar lamps up. They'll put, um, you know, it like lining their driveway, right? They'll have the big floodlights up. Motion sensor lights, you know, are really big, especially if they have a camera, because you know there's no point in having a camera without any light on it, right? I mean, you still need light in order for your camera to pick up a good, you know, picture. And if you're going to pay that much money for cameras, then they're going to be working, and you're going to be able to catch somebody doing something, right? You make sure of it. So, you know, there's that. But let's get back into this here.
Or porch lights. You know, it's a nice neighborhood. So I didn't need to use a flashlight to walk through the neighborhood to be able to see. It does depend on like the sensitivity settings you have on your camera, how far it is from the street. Which I mean, these are not huge lots.
Yeah.
I would have to pull up a parcel map again, but I mean, I wouldn't think they're more than like a quarter acre. So they're not large. So the houses are not super far from the road. I would love if a neighbor would say, who is that woman walking through my neighborhood last night? I would love if I would have gotten caught on camera. That would have been really interesting.
Sebastian been put into Katie's car or truck without any sort of camera picking him up?
So she parks in the garage. Always. So, but I mean, she'd probably have to drive down the street with her headlights off, I would think. We know she drove through the high school, like she said.
Somebody in there and take off somewhere at some point.
Sure. I mean, I would think a camera would catch that. Maybe not if the headlights were off.
But she drove at some point. She drove by the high school or whatever.
Right. It was daylight at that point.
Daylight. Yeah. Well, yeah. So she could have, you know, put something in her trunk or put something in a car. And
I mean, at that point, I mean, within minutes, if not already, police were called when she was driving through that parking lot.
Where are the clothes Sebastian wore? Texas Roadhouse video. Do we know if he was wearing those clothes when he supposedly disappeared?
I don't think he was wearing those clothes. No.
Okay. Well, we don't know if the police have collected them or anything, right?
We don't know.
No. Okay. Do you know what the police have done inside that house to search for Sebastian?
Hey guys, I don't know why Chloe said that she doesn't know to this one, right? This question here about Sebastian's clothes, because now maybe she just didn't believe Chris and Katie, but Chris and Katie did tell Nancy Grace before this, right? March 25th, I believe, was the Nancy Grace interview that when it aired on YouTube. So sometime on and around that time, March 25th, 2024. They told Nancy Grace. Nancy said, what did the police take for scent? And she said a hairbrush of Sebastian's, his blanket, and then a few other items. But they did talk about giving the clothes from the Texas Roadhouse, like the clothes that he was wearing before. So she should have known that if she did in fact watch Nancy Grace. Now she might not have, I'm not sure. I just kind of wanted to throw that out there. And then KJ Mack again says she wasn't aware of the waning gibbous moon at 96% light. It was lighter than usual, you know. Hey, Ann, thank you for being here. Mama Bear says, I do believe it was Sebastian that took the trash out because it'd be too risky to lie. It was him with them knowing the camera could pick it up with the person doing it. Well, see, she never brought up the fact that Sebastian took out the trash until Chronicles of Olivia. That was the first time. They sat on Duchess for 3 hours, never mentioned it. Never mentioned it to Holly Thompson, unless Holly Thompson cut it out of the interview. Uh, Never mentioned it in the Only Hands interview with Caitlin Miller. Never brought it up in the Smiley interview. So, I do believe that was after. So, but either way, I mean, there was several interviews that they didn't bring it up. So once they realized that they were caught on camera, someone was caught on camera taking the trash out, taking the trash can to the end of the driveway. That's when that story became part of Katie's story, right? And the same thing with her driving at the school, right? Because we're about to hear from Chloe PI that Katie was caught on camera driving around the parking lot at the school. C-Star. But, so I'm just, and I'm putting it out there. Like I said, I don't know how much she had talked to Chris and Katie at this point, what they discussed, all of that. So just putting that out there too.
To my knowledge, their house has been searched over a dozen times by officers. They've used heat-seeking devices, and this comes from the sheriff, to make sure he wasn't in any walls. I do not have knowledge and didn't question the sheriff at the time. I was trying to build a rapport, but about any luminol or anything like that.
That's a big
To
question.
my knowledge,
They use luminol.
they have not done that. I have had tips for several weeks about people seeing Kathy Bowersock's car that morning before Sebastian was reported missing. I have not been able to validate that that's true. But the Ken Davis post is not the first time that's been brought to me.
Do you know anything about cadaver dogs being used at the house in the past?
I know there were scent dogs, absolutely. I know that cadaver dogs that we've brought in have not been to the house, but they've been in the area. But those are not law enforcement cadaver dogs.
Okay.
I mean, they're credentialed cadaver dogs, but they have not been on their property or in their house. And they don't take kindly to trespassing. So we would absolutely have to have permission for that.
Right. Hit on anything, your cadaver dogs at all?
No.
And
it's completely possible, honestly.
It is? And why do you say that?
Because if he's going to take one, he should take one with the TBI.
Right.
So, I mean, I do believe that's probably true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did he eventually take one with the TBI?
I think he did.
And he said he passed it. Is that correct?
He said he passed it. I have no confirmation of that. But I do think he took one.
Okay.
Their words
Mm-hmm.
were that she looked around the house for a few moments, went outside, got in her car, started driving around the neighborhood, drove over to the high school, which is Beach High School.
Mm-hmm.
And then Chris was the one who three-way called the sheriff's department, not 911, but the sheriff's department. And Katie said she was on mute.
So she was there and she heard it. Okay. But that's according to them. You haven't been able to verify anything.
Okay, really quick, guys. I just want to, reiterate that. And if you want me to, rewind it back quick, I can. But there you have it from Chloe. She says that Katie was muted, but that's not what she told America's Most Wanted. We watched that this morning. She said that Chris told her to go back to the house. Why would Chris have to tell her to go back to the house if she was on three-way muted? Right? She would be able to still hear everything. Katie's a liar. A bold-faced liar, right? In my opinion. And that just goes to show it.
About that, right?
They won't even release the missing persons report to us.
Why do you think that is? I mean, this doesn't
A
make
long time with Heather at Sumner County and put in records requests, talked to the sheriff, talked to several other officers and detectives, and they will not give it to us. I mean, it's bizarre. I've never encountered that before because I often request those things because I don't work cases unless
right.
I have a missing persons report, especially adults. But sweet Sheriff Weatherford said he was getting a lot of emails
I bet. I
by
bet
a
it was
lot of
right
people
for
that
Yeah.
weren't necessarily like pertinent to Sebastian's case, you
Right.
know. So he's getting bombarded.
Uh,
Seth took a poly with Nancy Grace, or
Okay.
with whoever Nancy Grace set him up with.
Right. And do we have any results on that, or?
I don't. Polygraphs are voluntary.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not admissible in court. So, I mean, I know they're helpful tools for an investigation, but
Mhm.
they're not the end all be all.
No, did Seth fall asleep during Nancy Grace lie detector?
I saw a comment that had his name next to it that said he did. It hasn't been something I focused on. Hendersonville is like very densely wooded, and it gets pretty densely wooded.
Yeah, guys, and Kiki, I mean, she's over there, you know, on a three-way call. She's muted, but she was the one that was with Sebastian. Why couldn't she call for herself? Why wasn't he on the phone muted? If you need him on the phone for moral support, I get it. But why wouldn't you be telling what happened, right? But she told everybody she was too hysterical to call herself, right? But she still would have been able to hear everything. And Trishy brings up a really good point here too. Why would this Chloe chick, who was an actual PI working this case, not have verification that he passed? I mean, it's weird. And then it was almost like she thought it was cute and funny that Sheriff Weatherford was getting bombarded by emails. You know, now that I'm looking back on it, it's a little bit different, right? Because I'm like, no, that's not a good thing. That the sheriff is being bombarded, that tells me that there are people that were trying to basically stall the investigation possibly, right? Or slow it down or bombard the sheriff, if that's what she's saying, with things that didn't have anything to do with Sebastian's case. Who was doing that? You're the PI, figure it out. Because that would bother me if I was a private eye on a case and the sheriff told me I'm being bombarded by things that don't even have to do with his case. That would bother me because that means that someone's impeding the investigation. But she just laughs it off like it's funny. It's not. And Sheriff Weatherford was an older guy, right? You know, I mean, we can just see how our kids are so much more tech savvy than we are. So, I mean, to me, that's not funny, in my opinion. And I never really looked at it like that until I'm looking at it again here with you guys. Holly S says, Trishy, it's ridiculous, isn't it? She doesn't even know if they had a ring cam. That is so basic, right? And I mean, Holly S, you're absolutely right. You know, and it really makes me think that it's a strong possibility that she was working both sides, you know. I hate to say it. She does bring up Sarin a little bit here. We all know who likes to sport that t-shirt. Deborah says the search dog went up and around and through and jumped straight into the pond. Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that happened with 3 dogs that led in the same path, right? They didn't all jump into the pond. Very basic, Trishy. You know, I was thinking about that too the other day. KP didn't mention her friend at all any interviews. Her friend never even came out. Hey Faye, I saw what you said too. I agree. They were working together. Heather and Chloe and possibly SF. You know, in hindsight, Faye says, in my opinion, they lawyered up since day one. Katie didn't sign for special forensics and cadaver dogs inside the home. In my opinion, she used her fifth to deny Polly also. Well, and I will say this, Faye, I think that she was probably on Xanax, in my opinion, is what I've heard, that she was pretty medicated, which, I mean, obviously if your child's missing, but, you know, these circumstances are a little different in my opinion. But I agree, they should have gotten a warrant, and the probable cause, in my opinion, could have been the simple fact that they don't have any evidence that Sebastian ever left the house, right? So where would they get it? You know, then that means that he's still in the house, but the cadaver dogs were never there, right? So it's weird because he didn't give permission, but why not get a search warrant, right? I mean, you know, I'm not a police officer. I don't know what type of probable cause is needed in order to get that, but I would think it would be, you know, kind of just part of the procedure, right? Because if that's what we're concluding, and they had the footage. Nisi Marie says, red flag, she just lied. CP told us he didn't take a poly because TBI told him not to. The PI and CP amended and he didn't. Oh, admitted that he didn't. Well, and I agree with that, Nisi. That's the thing. He was telling people, I did pass it, I didn't pass it. I mean, he went back and forth with Terry Lynn about it. He went back and forth with Smiley about it. He went back and forth with everybody about the polygraph, right? Even on Duchess, right? Went back and forth with her. Oh, I took it. I, you know, passed and da da da. And people were asking him, wait a minute here, but then he lied on Facebook, you know, and then he tells Jules canine, you know, our canine handler friend, Jules, you know, told her a completely different thing, right? Oh yeah, we took it. Katie took hers the second or third day and she passed it. They asked her only 5 questions, but they asked me 13 questions. Well, really? Seth had to sit there for 3.5 hours or 2 to 3 hours, I think he said. We'll just estimate it there. Still, that's a long ass time. That's more than 5 or 13 questions. And he's bitching. Excuse me. But seriously. Social Butterfly says about cameras at the Proudfoot home requested upgrade. Why need an upgrade if you say no cameras? Right, exactly. Social Butterfly. And that's the thing too. Nina was alleging that they had cameras because she was like, well, what about the cameras, Chris? And he's like, oh, I don't know, you know, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't say anything about it. Well, she knows that there were cameras there at one point. Now there aren't. And then Katie working for Brinks. I mean, come on. You know, cat got his tongue, Kiki says. I don't know why these 2 girls are involved in this, but I don't think it's to help. I know Holly S. I mean, it's weird to get I mean, I got a weird read off of them in the beginning. I caught kind of Chloe not being truthful, right? But then I was like, well, she's just kind of, you know, representing Seth, so she's trying to keep it, you know, if she didn't really know, I could see her not wanting to say anything either way, but it does. I mean, KP works for Brink Security, and she actually has the audacity to say that they have no CCTV cameras or ring cameras on the house. Ridiculous. I agree with that, Brenda Bennett. Deborah Bennett. I agree with that because how in the world are we supposed to believe that? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, and then also her husband works out of town. You would think she would want that. You know, she would want to make sure that she was safe, and so was Sebastian. She would want that security. She probably got a pretty good discount too. And she would just install it herself probably. So, I mean, there's that. Mama Bear says whether Katie mentioned Sebastian taking the trash out or not does not negate the fact the Proudfoot's new cameras could identify who it was. I don't think they'd risk saying it was Sebastian. Well, I even thought, Mama Bear, about the son of Katie's friend. Like maybe was he the one that took it out? Because I mean, I agreed. And it would have to be somebody that was about Katie's size. Now, another thing about the trash cans that the trash that I think of is that if no one was caught tampering with the trash at all, then whatever was thrown away would have had to been thrown away when they got home from the Texas Roadhouse and not afterwards, right? And then they take the can to the end of the driveway and nobody messes with the can at all. I mean, in my opinion, from what we know and see and what we've seen, right? So if we're to believe that Katie came back from the Texas Roadhouse, and then someone took the trash out around 7 or 7:15 even. I mean, whoever threw whatever away, whatever they were looking for in the landfill, had to have happened before that, unless there was other footage of someone messing with the trash after that. But I've not heard of anything like that. So I just kind of wanted, you reminded me of that. Thanks, Mama Bear. Trishy says exactly. I think both Chloe and Heather were planted for some reason, and it was not to help, but that's just my feeling. Well, it was weird when Heather, when I listened to it back too, when Heather said that about, okay, she told Seth, she told Chris that Seth was getting updates through Bobby and Carter and not through her anymore. That threw me off. I was like, wait a minute, what? What are you telling that to Proudfoot for? Like, why would you tell him that if you're working for Seth, right? Like, you're supposed to be his PI. But then again, did Chris manipulate his way, into the situation as well, in terms of, oh, we're supposed to be all working together, and then we went over the pact statement that Chris had made, right, that I played of Momming It Ups earlier. And that pact, that statement of oh, we made a pact together, and then they were upset because, Seth didn't want to be involved in a pact. He wants to find his son. That has always been weird. For one, why would you need a pact if you are telling the truth? Brenda Calvert says because they wanted the police to know he was in Memphis, in my opinion. That's a good point, Brenda. Thank you. Yeah, that's an excellent point. Hey, Red Eye LAX to Boston. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they're not. I mean, there's definitely, in my opinion, enough circumstantial evidence to build a case. Obviously, there's no body cases that go all the time, Aw, Aretha Bell says, I feel like I'm living a nightmare and I'm not even a parent of him. Aw, Aretha, I know. It's terrible, isn't it? I mean, I think about Sebastian all the time. I can't believe they don't want to be more vocal. I mean, I understand maybe why Chris wouldn't want to be more vocal, but Katie, I can't identify there. I just can't. Because I would be doing what Seth is doing, I'd be trying to raise awareness everywhere I could. Yeah, her body language is a big one, Nisi Marie, a big one. I don't know. GA64, whenever Chris talked about showing that nasty, dirty song, the Ding-a-ling song to Sebastian, exposing him to that, I sent that off to every law enforcement, every one of them. I actually called Sumner County. I actually called the TBI on that. Yes, I did. Because that, in my opinion, in the essay that Sebastian went through, that never should have been exposed to him ever. Not by his stepfather. Maybe one of his cousins or an older brother, but never by his stepfather. Ever, ever, never. All right, I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Almost immediately in any direction when you leave his subdivision.
Right.
It's kind of, I mean, there's a lot of really treacherous terrain out there. We've all been in it, and it's hard.
Yeah.
And it not at night, and it's hard. There may be a way, like if they had a Ring camera on the doorbell, but not a camera in the back of the house, and you walk between houses in a certain direction, he would hit woods and then he wouldn't be picked up on a camera for a long time. Once he leaves that subdivision, there's no cameras for a long time. Yes, we have a vetted source close to the Proudfoots that has claimed on recording that he had conversations with Chris about him leaving Katie. Not since Sebastian's been missing, but previously.
Before.
Yes, as we've been brainstorming this domino effect of like, okay, he went missing February 26th, but there was a lot going on the 3 months prior to that, a lot. And we're trying to just timeline all of that out to see what the catalyst was.
Heard Chris talk about it, and we've heard Seth talk about it, about Chris didn't want Sebastian around his younger daughter.
Right.
And that was a big problem.
Right.
So can you comment on any of the situation going on at home before Sebastian went missing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Chris admitted to there being CPS calls. And I really think the way he described it was that it was plural. I have confirmation that those did happen. Like, I'm just posting their words.
Right, what they have said.
I'm not even making a post with an opinion in it. I'm just saying what they've said. It does seem like there were some issues for Chris with Sebastian and his daughter being together.
But Sebastian had not, there's been no reports of Sebastian behaving inappropriately directly with his daughter.
No.
Of course not. Wrong. Chris didn't want Sebastian around his daughter, just flat out. Can you comment on the scent to the retention pond? Did that turn out to be false?
I mean, the dog dove in the pond. The initial maps at the beginning are a bit confusing. I think it was such a mass influx of EMA and officers and everything that some of it got kind of convoluted. Some of it was IT issues. So, you can chase the dog tracks on the map, but some of them tracked on the app incorrectly, not necessarily the dog. But I mean, you hear on dispatch that the scent dog, he says she jumped straight in the pond. We have gone through that pond. The divers we brought in, the searchers we brought in, we have gone through those ponds. Not only did law enforcement do that, but we have, and there's no water in at least one of the ponds that's on the construction site. It's not like a big, huge pond.
And guys, I just want to pop in and just say it's my understanding. Chris says that they took a polygraph. Katie says they take a polygraph. I don't know. They've never shown any receipts for it. They have never, ever shown a receipt. And that's, all I can say about it. And I tend to agree with Faye here. Faye says, in my opinion, if they did pass their polys, their minions would have put it on social media day one, allegedly. Oh, definitely. They would have threw it all in our face. Like, they would have been happy, right? To stuff the basketball. I mean, come on. In my opinion. So, I mean, I don't know. Seth showed receipts of his. Seth showed his time card receipts. Seth showed his polygraph receipts. They never have.
It's like a mud pit at this point. It's like quicksand. There's not. We have cleared. I don't know, a dozen ponds and intersections. I had no idea until this. Because you see Katie drive through the high school parking lot.
Right. So have you been able to get any of those, any other than, do you have the copy of Katie driving through the parking lot, or was that already released? According to Seth, the police have said, hey, you don't need to take a lie detector because we know where you were.
Yeah, I mean, he works in the Davidson County Jail. He's on surveillance constantly. I mean, he's not even allowed to bring his phone in.
Yeah, don't know how in the hell he got out of the house because he's nowhere on camera, but yet he's on camera earlier taking out the garbage. So he's on a camera somewhere. So why isn't he on a camera when he left?
I think the sun went down on the 25th at like 5 6:40 something. It was before the time change, so it was getting dark. What I've been told by the sheriff's department was it was around 6:30 when they saw it. I think the Proudfoot say 7. That's kind of semantics to me, but so it was getting dark.
Well, it's not semantics to me, and now we know, now that we saw the Texas Roadhouse video, that they were leaving the Texas Roadhouse at 6:30. So was that a slip up by Craddock? Allegedly, in my opinion.
For sure. I don't know that it was like pitch black at that point. I don't know if it was like midnight dark, you know.
But shouldn't these cameras, I mean, I have a little cheapo one here. It is infrared. I can see everybody at night. You know, there, you would think, correct me if I'm wrong, Chloe, but you would think that there would be a spotting of Sebastian on one of these 11 cameras that you have mapped out, and there are probably more.
Yeah.
And as far as you know, there are no sightings of him.
Right.
So let's say, hypothetically, let's say that is correct. Okay, that there's no mistake, that he wasn't able to escape a camera and duck out of a camera. Let's just say that's correct, that Sebastian is not on a camera anywhere leaving the house in the neighborhood. That means he is either still in the house somewhere.
I think he still could have left the house. I do.
How come?
It's just a feeling, honestly. I mean, and being in that area and knowing my cameras, and I just there are places where he could have avoided them, and I don't even know that he would have done it on purpose.
Just
not
it just
pulling it out. I mean, I think that's strange. We now know how many pairs of shoes he did have. I know that was being like very protected by Katie for some reason, but he didn't have very many pairs of shoes. His feet were growing, and he had done a couple new pairs. You know, Katie would throw out the old pairs pretty quickly, so it wasn't like, I mean, he just had a few pairs of shoes, so I think it was pretty easy to account for all of them. Account for Chris's shoes too, because I know people have wondered if maybe he put his shoes on. So, I mean, I do think that's strange. It makes me think it wasn't a planned runaway.
Right.
And that maybe something triggered him, or there was an altercation where he fight or flight just left, you know.
And that's what I'm thinking.
I really don't think it was like, wait for mom to go to bed and then I'll sneak out.
That he could have left through the back door. Now, if he left through the back door, would he escape all the cameras that way, or would he get the cameras of the neighbors that were in the backyard?
He would escape a lot more cameras that way. Their backyard is fenced. That doesn't mean.
I hope not either, Joe.
He didn't go that way.
No, have the Proudfoots been willing to work with you?
Some.
Care to elaborate?
They've had conversations with us, and I think slow.
And I also agree, guys, that good to see you, Elisa P. Yeah, so it's my understanding that his truck is like more of like a navy blue, not quite a black truck, but more of like a navy blue. You know, kind of from what we've seen in pictures and things like that. That's all I really have to go by. But and then the neighbors is like a white, you know. Nisi Marie says Melissa has a white SUV. Yeah, see, Joe, you're a friend. Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for being here. Faye says, in my opinion, the Scent Canine officer Max followed at the construction site was CP's. I believe his truck was parked there. Oh, that's interesting, Faye. Yeah, and I agree with Holly S. too. It always turns, you know, and I'm an adult, you know, I mean, I get it. We're all an adult. These shows are not for kids. I always mark them for not for kids and that sort of thing. Because of the sensitive subject matter, the content, right? Trigger warnings, the whole 9. And so, I mean, but, you know, absolutely. I think everything goes back to SEX, and it's very weird. And I wondered about the swinger stuff and everything else, you know, and again, and I took that other stuff out, you know, when they were talking about Katie, you know, and her tendencies, because, you know, I don't find it to be really relevant. But Chris called the polygraph an open book cheat test, which to me conveys he cheated on it anyway. Lover girl, 100%. Thank you for the reminder of that. He sure did. Sure did. We have the proof. Remember, CP saying it. LOL. I mean, that it's his words. It's his words. Aw, thank you, little Miss Sharon. Smash that like button, guys. Say hola to the like button. I always say that in Kiki's chat. Make her laugh. My opinion, CP is living a double life, in my opinion. If you know what I mean, red flag. Yeah, I do. I do. I understand that. And I feel that there was a big bunch of that going on. You know, Elisa P says, I don't believe that Sebastian took the garbage out. I don't either. I don't either. And that's because we've never been able to confirm it. And the only people that are confirming it are people who have lied in the past, you know. Linda Hall, thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Yay. Welcome to the Dragon Tribe. Thank you so much. I never have and I never will believe that. I never did either. And it just reminded me of whenever Seth was talking about it and Katie adding it in later on. That was really weird. It was almost like she had to because it was caught on camera. But I don't think it was Sebastian, you know? Yeah, let's not forget he's pervy. He's never says that right either. Show us the video credit with full timestamps. Yeah, I want to see the whole thing. I want to see the whole thing, Elisa P. I do. Yes, welcome, Linda. Just a feeling of grr. I know. I know. It's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. It really is. In my opinion, Chris is a serial abuser that knows how to hide from the system and trick it. Well, and that's the thing. He likes to, brag about that he's never, had any kind of domestic violence, and I'm just so blown away by that. Um, Joseph Rapp, good to see you, Joseph Rapp. He says, "Is she serious? Sebastian did not run." I don't think so either. Absolutely. Bull 3 pairs of shoes. Well, and again, guys, too, I did, want to point this out that I did a comparison, and this is Sebastian at his birthday. Let me take this banner down. This is Sebastian's foot. Poor Sebastian. We're over here analyzing his feet. Poor kid. And then him at the Texas Roadhouse, right? So his shoe size here, shoe size there. Only a couple months later, guys. So, no, I don't believe that. I don't believe that Sebastian went up shoe sizes like Katie said. I don't think so. Not at all. You're never going to make me believe that one either because look, that's him at the Texas Roadhouse and that's him at his 15th birthday. And he's December 7th and the Texas Roadhouse was the 25th. So, no, that's a whole lot of, bull crappy poo. In my opinion, I mean, I don't think no. They said he's a size 10 on dispatch. That looks like about a size 10 to me, But I think that's the one thing that they messed up. Aw, Linda, we're glad to have you. That's the one thing they messed up, guys, and there's a couple of things that we've caught them in that they've messed up, Mama Bear, I have to agree. The pervy definition literally means perverted. Privy is the correct word, but even in most dire circumstances, Chris's subconscious was in the gutter. I believe that too. I believe they're guilty too, Brenda. It sucks, I wish it wasn't so. I wish it could be someone else, but it's clear. His shoes were oversized, in my opinion, at the birthday party. And maybe they were, but she said his toes were in the front. In that one interview with Queen Bee, she even did like a whole little scenario that happened between the two of them. She was pretty vivid and descriptive in that, and I'm just like, I look at that and I'm thinking, there's no way. And then also Sebastian, has his shoes showing as well. I don't think that they did any real investigating in this case after Sonny Weatherford died. I know Justin got an email telling him there was some criminal investigation in this case. Thanks, Elisa P. That the sheriff's deputy was lying to Justin. Wow. See, and that's really interesting. I mean, I don't believe that anything was done after Sonny Weatherford either. Well, Kiki, I know that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to. It was thank you because it's hard for me to gauge, right? Because like my daughter, of course, we have. I mean, I have tons of shoes. She's got tons of shoes. So I thought it was always weird that Sebastian only had 3 pairs of shoes, but that could have been true. Um, C Star says, if I thought my child walked out of the house, I would look all over and over until I found a clue. KP just accepts not knowing. Well, and that's what's odd, right? It's bizarre and it just doesn't make any sense. I think they left from their home because of surveillance was put in the neighborhood. Remember, they were afraid the house was bugged, in my opinion. Oh, I'd be worried about that too if I was them. Definitely. Because look, I mean, that's what the FBI does. I hate to think that, but watching cases where there is an investigation going on and watching this case, it's night and day. I agree, Elisa. I mean, definitely. I mean, that is the problem. That is the problem. Because we do see other cases and it is eye-opening. Trishy says I agree with that about the investigation going downhill after Weatherford passed, It's sad to say it. Yeah, I think he did shut it down after that. I know he did, right? We watched it happen. We watched it happen. And I mean, he was his protege. Craddock was Sonny's protege. And he was really rooting for him. Like, he was a mentor of his. Sonny was to Eric. And they've just been lying and claiming they are investigating. And that's what's the most frustrating thing to me is that right there, Elisa, because we could see it in the footage, you know, because she actually knows. Deborah, I think so too. I think she actually knows. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom says, I'm sorry, I typically agree with you, lady, but those shoe sizes, I believe. I have had the same issues with my son. I think that's true in my opinion. Well, but look at the sizing though. It doesn't seem to me that they're sorry, and I don't mean to take your comment down because I don't agree with you. Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom. It's okay if you disagree with me too, guys. No worries. I'm not mad at all. See, they just look so much like alike to me. They do. I'm gonna have to maybe look at them maybe when they're in motion because both of these are videos. I took a still of these both from a video. But I mean, if they said 2 shoe sizes, do you think that looks like a size 8 maybe and the other ones are 10s? Because that would have been the night that he went missing. And I know like boys can really shoot up, you know? I know they can grow quickly. I mean, they're definitely a different shoe because you could tell by the logo. It's maybe the same kind of type of shoe, but the other ones do look newer and wider, and that could be due to lighting and things like that also, guys. Just, I mean, they were in like kind of a gaming they were at that game show for Sebastian's birthday. But well, yeah, CNY family had brought that up too, Kiki. Also, the dispatch says they called mom about a purple hoodie. If KP was at home and Ellie there, why did they have to call her? Well, I know, and the thing is too, I don't know where they were all located, but I remember someone asking Seth about a purple hoodie, and he said unequivocally, like he was like, "Oh no, not Sebastian. He wouldn't have a purple hoodie," So. But I thought that was interesting too. It would just be a size up or so. I can send you pics of my boys' shoes for comparison, 2 sizes apart. Yeah, like I really want to know about that because I never believed that at all. That Katie said because I mean I just don't believe the shoes. I think that was the one thing they messed up on was the shoes. Thank you, Wait What. Good to see you. Welcome in. So, I just that's one thing I never believed was Sebastian. And honestly, guys, I play it every night because I don't think Sheriff Craddock believed that either. I really don't. I really don't. I think he was side eyeing Katie on that. I think that's the one thing that because he said, I'm not going to say he's barefoot. So that means he doesn't believe Katie. That means he didn't believe Katie, at least about that. But he could have been thinking she's distraught. You know, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Yeah, Deborah, they were asking about that purple hoodie. They were. Deborah says, well, my nephew is the same age as Sebastian and his foot grows an entire size every year. Well, yeah, I mean, it just depends. Kids do grow quickly. I do want you to send me that. Perfectly imperfect boy, Mom. No, I do, because I really have, that's always bothered me. Oh, I know. It does look like the worst birthday party, doesn't it, Joe? Oh my gosh, it does. It's sad. It's very sad. I do not like watching that video. That's why I didn't do it in the video, because I was like, let me just do a still, because that is sad. Katie may have been at the grocery store in the shower. Well, I mean, and that's the thing. She never does talk about a shower in the morning, you know? Sneak into their room. Perfectly imperfect boy, Mom. You're so funny. Don't worry. I'm not going to be, I'll probably won't even be able to like look at it tonight, but I will. I'm going to look at it. Because I mean, I just always thought that was the one thing that Katie forgot. Like, oh shoot, the shoes, right? Like, I think that was like her oh shit moment, in my opinion. How big was the purple hoodie? What size, I wonder? I don't think they gave out sizes. Did they, Kiki? I don't recall them giving out a size on that. They were just asking about a purple hoodie. But that's a great question, Nisi Marie. Yeah, Katie left her vehicle before the police were ever contacted. Yeah. Yeah. That was a terrible video. It was. Well, it's Sebastian getting bullied on his birthday by his aunt. I mean, you can see the maturity of those people when, they're teasing the kid. On his birthday of all days, like, you can lay off him for his birthday at least. Yeah, they treat him like dirt, and then they excluded him from things like the Disney trip, all of that. It's sad. It is very, very sad and uncalled for, really.
They are having more. Yeah. So that whole email thing was strange. Well, several people had requested.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Not just us. And they got similar emails that said criminal investigation.
So they couldn't release it because it was an ongoing criminal investigation.
And
right.
And several people besides us received similar emails that said that. Criminal can mean several different things, though. It doesn't mean that Sebastian was murdered and his body is stashed away somewhere. Criminal can mean, somebody is withholding 5 details about what happened. Right. I mean, there's lots of charges that can come from a missing persons case, and it's not foul play.
Yep.
False reporting or withholding information. I mean, things like that. And that doesn't necessarily mean he was murdered.
Exactly.
And it can still be a criminal investigation.
Katie and Sebastian supposedly were at a relative's house on Sunday. Has that relative come forward and said, yes, they were here, I saw them, all of that?
Yeah, that was Chris's sister.
Okay.
And then I think they were also at a friend's that has, I think early in the day. I mean, everything at this point is a possibility. That's kind of low on my theory list, along with him being groomed and taken away by somebody on the internet. That's pretty low on my theory list. But we only have breadcrumbs at this point, so anything is possible. But that's not a high priority.
Let me put it this way. I was shocked. I was shocked when I saw their interview, because Chris Proudfoot was gleefully telling everybody that he hit Sebastian with a belt. And that made my blood run cold, to be honest. It really did. And it truly troubled me. Now that Chris and Seth are working together? And maybe you can't answer this. Is Seth able to just put that aside and talk and work with Chris in trying to find Sebastian?
I think they are doing their best.
Mhm.
I mean, there's water under the bridge. I mean, obviously, like I think they're doing their best. I'm not saying it's easy.
Right.
There's a lot of feelings.
About bringing in Q, CUE. What is Q?
A missing persons like SAR organization that's kind of up there with EquiSearch.
Mhm.
They can provide massive resources with ATVs, drones, dogs, foot search, boats, divers, which, you know, we've brought in some of that, but not on the mass scale that we would
Mhm.
like to. So we are in the works of bringing them in because we have an incredible group of volunteers that, I mean, over probably a dozen of them have been with us for over a month.
Mhm.
And they're there constantly. What do we need to do? Where are we going? You know, and they're doing their best, but that's not very many people in the grand scheme of like the acreage that needs to be covered, especially
Right.
because the terrain is really hard. I
Mm.
believe we are finishing reports and giving them private property permissions that we've gained.
Mhm.
I don't have a timeline on when they'll come. Obviously, they don't just say, okay, we're coming. They plan
Right.
before they get here. So, I mean, as soon as I have an update about that, I'll share it.
Okay. Jessica London wants to know, was it for sure Sebastian on the camera taking the trash out?
The sheriff's department says it is.
Mhm.
I know Seth has said that he can't 100% tell. So I guess I can't answer that.
Okay. Lorna Burrell wants to know, why does it say last seen on Monday, February 26th? Didn't KP say she last saw him Sunday at 9 p.m.? I don't know where it says last seen Monday, the 26th. I don't know where that.
Oh, I know where it is. It was on the flyer that was put out, the official flyer, right? But they changed it. But they still left it in the area of Stafford Court, right? Still left the sweatpants, all of that. Last seen February, they just changed that. That's where it is. So, and Nisi Marie, I do have that. I do have that. The trophy picture. I sure do. Elisa P says, are people aware what her husband builds for a side hustle? And that is Melissa's husband builds home bunkers and secret rooms. He has a company. And I've heard that as well. He's, she's very suspicious in my opinion. And then the Warsham's footage, IML at Warsham's store, where the cameras in the back, the mattress box or stuff left there, think it's really Sebastian's. It could be. It very well could be. I've gotten somewhat confirmation that it is, right? But again, people are afraid because, All right, let's keep going.
That would be.
I've seen two different versions of the flyer that's been released by law enforcement. I mean, I think they're assuming he was in the home at midnight because that's when Katie went to bed.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to clear this up. 865 Picker said, why would Seth work with Chris and Katie if he feels they had something to do with it? Well, I don't think he is claiming that at the moment. He's putting all of that aside, correct?
Yeah. And I mean,
same here.
You need to work with the person that last saw your child.
Right.
He went on Peter Hyatt and it was great. I don't know if anybody watched it. Peter Hyatt is wonderful.
Yes, yeah.
Katie holds the key out of everybody.
She does.
She does. So you have to. I mean, you have to try to work with them, and
Yeah.
she holds all the information.
It's not going to do Seth any good to get out there.
Not all the information, but
Well,
she holds the most information.
And if Seth got out there and started saying horrible things about him, it's not going to help find Sebastian. And he's right. And it's great that he's stepping back, that they're both stepping back to work toward finding Sebastian. Need some Z's wants to know, and I don't know if you know the answer to this. Have the Proudfoots agreed to have the K9 search their house again?
I can't confirm that.
Okay. We don't know. And again, the police, why they're not saying anything is beyond me. Yes, Bonnie's journeys. Chris and Katie and Seth are now communicating, correct? They're still communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people are asking, you're saying that's low on your list. The theory is low on your list. What's high on your list of theories?
Honestly, the only two theories I have are Sebastian walked out of the house. And I don't mean, like I said, I mean, I think there was an altercation. I think there's some information that hasn't been shared. If that's the case, I don't think he just snuck out in the middle of the night to run away. It didn't seem very planned. No. And if that's the case, I do believe he is very close to home still.
Right.
Statistically, I mean, I think I talked to you about this before we went on. Kaylana Turner, who was missing for over 400 days outside of Houston. I mean, they had massive searches. Texas EquiSearch came in several times. She was found on the same road she went missing from.
Isn't that amazing? And that road had been searched and searched, right?
Oh, yeah. And I mean, it's assumed that she was deceased pretty much that whole time. And there's no foul play involved. So, I mean, I understand, and I've gotten these comments, why are you still searching here? Why are you still in Hendersonville? He's not in Hendersonville. You do not know that.
Nobody knows that. Nobody knows where he is, or he wouldn't be missing.
No. And I mean, law enforcement has, obviously had massive searches, but things get missed.
Yeah. And in fact, Stacy, tell us the story about the girl in England, because that's a great example of things getting missed.
So yes, in England, there was a young girl named Tia Sharp, a young teenager who she was staying at her grandma and her step grandpa's house. And so one day, the grandpa said that she had taken off to go down shopping to get some new shoes, some flip-flops. And then, grandma came home, Tia didn't come home, so they called and reported her missing. And there was absolutely no sightings of her at all. Nobody saw her anywhere. And so finally, the police, like I said, searched it many times, and they went back and did a forensic search eventually, and they found Tia wrapped up, stuffed up in the attic, what we'd call an attic.
Right.
And she was deceased.
And so, she'd been there the whole time, and they'd search the house and search the house. It's so frustrating. So that can happen. Melissa Hart wants to know, have they checked the drains at the construction site?
I mean, to my knowledge, they have.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Cheryl Reed wants to know, is it true that living room lights flickered and a neighbor saw a silhouette around 3 a.m.? Have you heard that?
I do not know. I know that he's seen turning the lights on in his bedroom after he takes the trash out, and maybe once again, but I don't think it was 3 a.m. It was earlier in the night.
Okay, guys, so that very well could be true, but this might be what the neighbor was referring to, right? Because this is Katie's bedroom light being on at 3 a.m. Just saying.
I'm getting a lot of questions in chat. What's your second theory? Yes, go.
Foul play. I mean,
of some sort.
Yeah.
Of some sort. Okay, we've kept you here an hour. We're not going to keep you much longer than 4 or 5. So hours. So
we
just
can
hang
talk
on.
for a long time, but I'd probably end up getting in trouble. So,
And, no, we understand. And again, we really appreciate you and Heather. Thank you, Heather, for coming to chat. We appreciate it. There are a lot of people commenting about what I'm thinking. And that is Chris Proudfoot seems to, in my opinion, control Katie. And don't you agree with this?
yeah, I
Chloe?
mean, that's what we've been trying to do.
That's what, she's been doing.
But it takes time because, law enforcement releases this massive search and they don't have to ask permission to go anywhere.
Right. Exactly.
I, as a private investigator, can still get trespassed. I have to have consent to be on people's properties. Also, there's a lot of guns in Tennessee.
Do you think Ellie is protecting somebody and that's why they're not telling you information? I'm trying to figure out why they're not.
They are not silent.
Right.
They are telling us things.
But there's a lot they're not telling you that you would think they normally would.
Yeah, there's a lot they are telling us, though. I don't think they're protecting.
Okay. There were some threats. There was some crazy stuff happening. Did they ever find out who was behind them?
I don't know if that's actually true.
Okay.
Honestly, I've never been threatened. I heard about threats. I never got any proof of the threats. Sumner County even came out and said they had no
really? Now that's interesting.
Police reports from certain organizations.
Really? Okay. Now that is.
They came back and said it was Davidson County that they reported to, which doesn't make really any sense to me, but because I feel like the threats were probably in Sumner County. So I have not received any threats. I have not been followed. Many of my searchers have not been threatened or followed.
So that could just be.
I don't think Heather's been threatened or followed. I mean, people are nasty on the internet, but I don't consider that like a safety issue. I can't say with 100% certainty that people haven't been threatened. I have not found any evidence of it and haven't had time to focus on that. If you don't feel comfortable searching, don't.
Yeah. Now, has Seth ever said he's been followed before? Do you know?
He has.
Okay. Chris's parents, Chris Proudfoot's parents. A lot of people are very kind of upset that they went to Alaska.
It's bizarre.
Okay, guys, so I'm just going to switch over here because I added some things that I wasn't supposed to the first time around. So just bear with me here.
After Sebastian went missing.
The grandparents went to Alaska and Puerto Rico. I just think that's weird.
They did. They went to Alaska, I believe 4 days after Sebastian went missing. They were gone about a month. And then I can't remember when they came back and JLR chased them around. And then they went to Puerto Rico at some point.
Secretly. There's been made mention of Sebastian being forced to wear pull-ups, which Seth.
Okay, guys, I just want to come in there again. JLR did not follow them around. Actually, JLR was driving past the Proudfoot residence, and that's when Terry, was following him around, right? And asking him questions and coming out in the street and throwing his hands in the air and that sort of thing. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there too. I also want to note that Chloe PI says 4 days, right? But Chris is going to come up here and say that she said 2 days. So I just wanted to point that out really quick.
I believe has confirmed, which I find appalling that they would do that the Proudfoots would do that. That's my opinion. Do you know like what that situation is? Do you have any information about it?
not really more than what's been said.
Okay. You know about Melissa Proudfoot? She helped them take Faith when Nina had to take her other child to the hospital. Do you know anything about Melissa, his sister?
I do think, at least from Nina's account, that she was involved with that, as was, kind of everybody.
But the thing, I think the flip side is, if the Proudfoot family has done things like this before, is it possible they've done it with
I
Sebastian?
just had a message that Chris wants to come on.
Chris Proudfoot?
I don't know where. It was not who messaged me, so I don't know. In a chat somewhere.
Chris,
I don't know. I just got a message that.
When you said Chris, I had to sit and think. Who? Oh.
Yeah, just stand by for just a second. Let me make sure this is real.
Okay. I know. I get all excited. You know, somebody cut her phone says it's real.
Okay, well, she's texting.
I'll tell you.
Well, I'm gonna. How do I mute yourself?
And we will always be polite to our guests. Okay, so who do we have here? Who do we have here? I put you on the platform.
You have me, Chris.
Hi, Chris Proudfoot. I really appreciate you coming here. I'm going to change the banner really quickly so everybody knows it's you. But I don't know how long you've been listening.
Long enough.
Okay, you sound angry. Talk to me. What? Talk to me. We don't want to get you. The last thing we want to do, Chris, is cause problems between you and Seth. I swear to God.
Well,
So
I can understand that, but let me help you with something.
Okay.
Okay, a lot of the information that I've been listening to on your show, coming from Chloe, the questions that are coming through people, it's very sickening and disgusting, to be personally honest with you.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So let me go ahead and address a few things and help y'all out.
Okay.
Because Chloe, you're the PI. I haven't had a chance to talk to you. You haven't even called me. You ain't done anything, first off.
Heather
is the only one. Heather is the only one who has reached out to me or to my wife.
I
So for you
actually
to sit on
reached
this
out to
show
you,
and sit
a
here
month
and
or
give
so ago.
information that you have, that you don't have all the answers to, is a problem.
Okay, well, Chris, help us understand, because I know Chloe, and Chloe wants to help. And the last thing Chloe would do is want to put out misinformation. And the problem is...
Okay, I understand that. So let me just smash something real quick.
Okay.
Okay, first and foremost, anything that goes on between me and my wife is not a damn bit of anybody's personal business. I don't care what you think. I don't care what y'all got to say. That'd be like me splashing all your business out to the world.
Okay.
It does not matter what goes on in my house. We're looking for my son. That's real simple.
Your stepson, right.
It doesn't matter. Stepson, my son. All the kids are treated as if they're your own. There is no title, a stepson, a son. It does not matter. That boy is loved by me just like he is my own. Just like he's my own.
Okay, Chris, may I ask you something?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I've been doing this for a long time, and let me tell you why people are asking personal questions about you and your wife. Okay, it's because of the situation in which Sebastian has gone missing, and they're wondering if whatever happened between you and your wife, does it have something to do with Sebastian going missing? I swear to you, it's not to be nosy. It's not to be rude. It's just trying to figure out what happened to Sebastian. And
okay, so let me make this even crystal clear for you.
Okay.
And everybody out there that's got all these negativity, disgusting comments and questions that y'all think you know anything about, when honestly you don't know a damn thing. And that's the problem. You assume, you speculate, all this crap. You have no idea what me, my family, my wife, everybody involved is going through, to include Seth, his mom, and everybody else.
Okay.
Because it's the vile, disgusting crap that comes out of people's mouth. Yes, I'm a very pissed off stepfather to this whole situation.
Okay. And I understand, and I hear what you're saying. But again.
So let me help y'all with something.
Okay.
Y'all said some shit that's really, it's really none of your damn business. But since you brought it up, I'm clear it.
Okay.
My parents didn't go to Alaska 2 days after we went missing.
I don't think
Why my
anybody
parents
said
went
that.
to Alaska was because my stepfather went for work.
Okay. Nobody said they went 2 days after he went missing.
Oh no,
They
it's
said,
out there. Trust me, because I have
Okay,
terabytes.
I did not say that.
nobody
I didn't say
said that
you.
there. Okay.
I said people.
Okay.
Now I have terabytes of videos of Seth on here saying some vile stuff. I've got videos of everybody and their comments out here.
But
Trust me, what I'm bringing to you is not that I'm just pulling stuff out of the air.
I understand. No. And Chris, I'm glad you cleared that up. That's a
So,
good.
and by the way, they didn't go for a month.
Okay.
They went for 2 weeks. My stepdad went on business. My mom went with him, but it's really nobody's business.
Well, but Chris, let me, and please understand. I swear to God, I'm coming from a place of understanding because I've been doing this for years. Okay. Here's the thing. When you ask the public for help, they're going to look at everything and try and figure out what happened to Sebastian. And let me tell them, from an outsider looking in, it's okay. His parents left town shortly after. Was there a reason? Did they take Sebastian with him? It is speculation that I am sorry it's hurtful to you, and I understand it. And that's why it's important that you clear it up. Just clear it up. Nobody's trying to be hurtful or mean. I promise you, we've all been asked to help find Sebastian. And this is what we do. We try and think outside the box. We try and ask questions and think outside the box and figure out what has gone on.
But
it is
your
not
problem with thinking outside of the box does nothing but cause speculation. And it causes people to call in tips that don't mean anything, that you're taking sources away from the investigation because Joe Schmo down the street thinks that my family owns a cemetery. We own a funeral home. Like, where in the hell do you get up with this stuff?
Okay.
Not you. I'm saying the public.
And so that, Chris, that's why it is great that you're here, because we want to clear this up and help you get it out. And I'm going to tell you something, Chris, when it comes to the general public, they're always going to be calling in crazy tips and doing crappy things. And all we can do is say, that's not us. We are not doing that.
Well,
But
it doesn't
and
matter,
I
though.
did want to clear
That
it
does
up.
not
Chris.
matter.
I
Doesn't
did want
matter
to clear it
one
up, Chris.
iota.
I did reach out to you on March 17th, publicly and privately. You responded to me publicly. You asked me to ask my question publicly. I did. You didn't respond. I reached out to you privately again. So I have reached out to you.
Where in the public? Where?
I reached out to you on Facebook. I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger privately. You've never read my message.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of the bullshit that I get in Facebook.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to make it clear that
Can I explain to you?
Yeah.
You send me messages along with thousands of other people.
I understand that. And that's why I took it public. And you did respond to me and ask me to ask my question publicly because you wanted whatever answer you were going to give to be public to clear it up.
What was the question that you asked me? Since I neglected your question.
And that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make it clear that I haven't tried to reach out to you.
Okay, so that kind of concludes that part there. 1 second here. Okay, let me just make sure.
Anything about when honestly you don't know a damn thing. And that's the problem. Something real quick.
Okay.
It's really none of your damn business, but since you brought it up, I'm clear it.
Okay.
My parents didn't go to Alaska 2 days after he went missing.
I don't think
Why my
anybody said
parents
that.
went to Alaska was
That is
because
not-
my stepfather went for work.
Okay, nobody said they went 2 days after. He
Sorry,
Responded
guys.
to me publicly. You asked me to ask my question
There we go.
publicly. I did. You didn't
It is
respond.
not
I reached out
well
to
at
you
all.
privately
Coffee,
again.
crime, and cats,
So I
not
have
well
reached
at
out to
all.
you.
Where in the public? Where?
Like spoiled milk, right?
I reached out to you on Facebook. I reached out to you on Facebook Messenger privately. You've never read my message.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but a lot of the bullshit that I get in Facebook.
No, that's fine. That's
I mean,
fine.
I'm not-
I just want to make
Yeah.
it clear that
Can I explain to you?
yeah.
You send me messages along with thousands of other people.
I understand that. And that's why I took it public. And you did respond to me and ask me to ask my question publicly because you wanted whatever answer you were going to give to be public to clear it up.
What was the question that you asked me? Since I neglected your question.
And
what
that's not
was
what
your
I'm
question?
saying. That's not what I'm saying. I want to make it clear that I haven't not tried to reach out to you.
And Chris,
Yes, and that cat is going nuts, right? Nisi Marie, that cat is like, I mean, that poor, I don't even know. The minute he comes on, you're going to hear that cat go crazy.
I know you're mad. God, I can feel it. I can hear it and I understand it. You've got to believe me when I tell you this. Please, if you can dial it back a bit and get us some of these answers and let us help you clear up this bull so it doesn't interfere anymore. And like I said, you're always going to have crazy people interfering and coming up with rumors, and it's so maddening and frustrating, and I hate it. It pisses me off more than anything, and anybody that knows me knows
It
that.
pisses you off? You're not in our shoes.
I know.
You haven't been in our shoes.
Okay, well, you don't know that, but I haven't been in your shoes and missing a child, no. But believe me, I can understand what you're going through, and what I'm saying is we can help you, Chris. We can help you, all right? Anybody here in this chat that asked about a cemetery, it's because somebody else brought it up.
Okay, guys, so I have heard a little bit about Tony recently, and I don't want to go too far into it, but it's my understanding that there's some ongoing litigation with GW of YouTube. That's the best of my understanding, but I haven't yeah, because Vic's asking too. Yeah, and that's a valid question. But that's what I've heard lately. Yeah, they were talking at first, Elisa P. Yeah, they were. And, well, and I think they were all trying to work together with Chris, right? Because of everything, like Seth was very adamant and, he wanted everybody to work together. And, I will agree with Chloe when she says, he's got to work with the person who was last with his son. Cinderella, I do think he was drinking in this one. I do. I mean, but that's what I've heard about Tony, is that he's in litigation with Grant. Well, and even sometimes these people pop into my feed. I don't go and seek it out. It'll just say like for you or something like that. I think we're in the same algorithm, but yeah, he's in the middle of some litigation, and she had posted a video. I saw that and I was like, okay, I heard a little bit. I believe Jen had answered that. I believe it was when I was with her on MMO, right, on Leanne's channel. All these dumb women making CP's life difficult for him, apparently. Joe. Hey, Dawn. I mean, I don't think Tony. I think it's the litigation. You know what I mean? But I could be wrong, Elisa P. I could be. Chris is too much of a control freak and opinionated. How many times has he been married? I should tell you something right there. Well, that's the thing too. Well, wife number 5 is Katie, to my knowledge. So, I mean, so suspicious. Adam Forever 21. Again, why the hell is the big mouth foot always doing all the talking. I mean, I don't know. And that's another thing. I saw again, I'm sorry, Perfectly Imperfect Boy Mom had said that up here. Hey, Rodney and Katrina, good to see you. About the, let's see if I can't find it. If not, I'll just say it. Um, I thought it was right here. Oh, who jumps on and never, there we go. Who jumps on and doesn't speak on the panel? I'm not sure who that is. I think it might be Seth, but he doesn't talk yet. Possibly, but then Heather Cohen also comes up here, and then Gray Hughes also comes up as well. What I took from this was he was drunk, number one, and number two, the fact that he straight away came up onto the all women panel and started raging really set the tone of the real CP. I agree. I agree with that. You know, and they're like, but I think Elisa's right where this is kind of a staged thing right here, you know? I think so. Yeah, the cat, well, and the cat probably knows that CP doesn't like cats. You know, I really think that. I really think that. Yeah, you can't be married 5 times and get along with women, Joe. That's a good point. That is a good point. Well, it's just relationships, I guess, you know, but he's like that with all the ladies. You know, he's yelled at Bobby, he's yelled at, you know, Seth's sister, he's yelled at his mom, he's yelled at all kinds of ladies, you know, rude to Smiley. Smiley was nice, and she got a lot of information out of Chris, you know. But Lisa says, I get these feelings. I'm a very intuitive person, and I knew Chloe and Heather were moles right away just by the intuition, and it ended up being true later on. Well, I mean, I had some weird feelings about them too, especially after this. Like when Heather came on and did the interview, like first off, um was it, yeah, it was News Nation, and that one was like, okay, well, it looks like they might have some people that are, hey, bonjour, seclusion works, you know, that are going to do something right. Like it seems like they're kind of understanding, right? They talked about the domino effect, and I really think about that. I call it the snowball effect, but I mean it's just kind of like, just, you know, gathering snow, until all of a sudden, you know, we have Sebastian missing. So, and that's kind of what I call it. But this does seem really, really staged now when you look back at it, you know. And the cats, Deborah, they don't stop, and she even excuses herself. It's so funny. The cats do not like CP at all, you know. In the cat's opinion. No, I'm just kidding. All the opinions that are expressed are simply the cat's views and not mine. No, I'm just kidding. But here we go.
Just tell us.
Exactly. And my question comes back to, where do these people come up with this crazy crap?
Like, that's $1 million question. I don't know.
Yeah, online.
Let's clear it up. Let's clear it up for you. Let us help you.
You're saying, I believe, Chloe, you're saying online. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm sorry, I said that. There's
And I will say really quick too, I know it's a little bit off topic. Well, I mean, you guys are talking about it, so it's not off topic. Nothing is over here, but you know, with Tony, it's a lot, like Rob Beanie was saying, and it's a lot like when you're trying to gather litigation, and these people pump out hate content like it's like a well-oiled machine. I don't know. Like I'm exhausted of putting out, you know, nice content. For the most part, I know sometimes I can be silly and snarky and, you know, drop the F-bomb. I get it. But I mean, you know, even just researching and coming, you know, coming up and talking with you guys, it's tiresome, you know. Nisi Marie. I forgot all about the cats till you guys brought it up. I'm like, yeah, they are getting with it back there, right? But I mean, it's tiresome. And then you got to go out and watch all that stuff. And like when it's about you and your family, it is exhausting. Like it really is. It's like, oh my gosh, now I have to, you know, clip this and get this over, and the legal hoops that you have to jump through, but it's worth it in the end. I highly recommend going the legal route if you have to, if you're dealing with these people. Because even when Chloe was talking earlier, guys, I didn't want to stop it too often, but I mean, she's saying, oh no, I don't think that there was any threats. Well, we all know there were threats in the beginning. And yeah, Sheriff Craddock denied the threats that came from the United Cajun Navy, even when the media asked him. But, it's like, what the heck? Why are you doing that? Like, we all know there were threats, which is very bizarre in my opinion. That's rare in my opinion. I can't really even think of very many other cases that are similar in that regard, because who threatens people who are looking? Yeah, they're online terrorists. It is, Elisa P. It is. And that's the thing. When I saw that with Granny, I was like, oh, okay, so there is a big, it is a big deal, right? Like there is something going down. Not that I didn't believe Jen, but she had mentioned it and we didn't go into it, right? But then I saw that Granny had put up a 3-hour live. I'm like, oh, which I didn't watch it because I'm too busy, going back through all of these interviews and stuff, because there's a lot of buzz around Sebastian's case, and we kind of have to keep this in the spotlight of kind of what was going on at this time. you know I think they were always working for CP. Yeah. And I finally really solidified it whenever Heather Cohen had come out and said that, Elisa P. It took me a little while to kind of even make heads or tails of this, because I'm going, why is Trisha being so nice, and how come, her host and everything, like, what is that? Yeah, the Cajun search team also. Yeah, they pulled out because of the threats. I mean, that's what they said. That was their official statement, not mine. You know, they do need more cyber patrols. They do. They do. Well, it's one thing to say I disagree or I think, stinky feet or whatever. I mean, we can speculate all day, but when it's like really hateful, and I mean, it's just some of the things, and it's so bizarre, some of the things that I've seen, and I just don't, I try not to go over there, guys, unless somebody sends me something. Um, I just don't go over there. I just don't go there. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they have the fear. I don't think they do. I think they feel like very confident at this time. We've talked about that too, especially when I reviewed Josh from the lab, Dr. Gary Bricado, and Chris McDonough. And Chris McDonough said that very thing, the longer they go without the public knowing, the more confident these people are, and maybe that's part of what they're banking on. Deborah says, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Joe Neal says SF probably needed the money more than them, so they adjusted their moral compasses when they realized CP and KP were turds, right? I mean, I'm thinking that too. Elisa says, yep, lady. I mean, you know, it's so weird how people really flipped over and that sort of thing. Yeah, never go to that negativity, right, Cinderella? I can't, I don't have time really to do it. I don't see how people do. I guess you watch it on like 7 times speed or something like that. But again, I don't believe what they have to say. I don't, because I know they've lied and that they haven't come out and, corrected any of that. They just like leave it be, and then they're like, "Oh, I need money. Here's my cash app." It's insane how many people got turned against one another in Sebastian's case. Very saddening. I agree with that, Rodney and Katrina. Yeah, absolutely. So much drama took away from what the focus should have been. Yeah, and I honestly believe that Pascal said it really well when he was talking about, everybody kind of being forced on one side or the other. I do agree with that. And we've watched it play out. And it's unfortunate, because like we would probably get along with a lot of people. I mean, there's certain ones that I know I probably never would get along with, but that's neither here nor there. We still shouldn't be beefing over, a missing child's case. I mean, if we disagree, we disagree, but there's no reason for that level of hate. And really, ever since, Julie came out and did that, it's been pretty rough. And that's my understanding, the best of my knowledge. And I don't talk to Tony, but I wish him the best. I hope things go well Because it's a lot, guys. It's stressful as hell. It really is. It put me out of commission for a little bit, just trying to gather everything together, because it just does. It comes so rapid fire. Um, yeah, so.
There's a lot of
Stacy. Yeah.
crazy people online, and just to let you know, I understand you get a lot of messages. I reached out to you when Sebastian first went missing too, to see if we could help in any way. Oh.
Yeah, but Chris, I understand your anger, but I'm telling you, please let us help you. Okay, we're not here to point fingers at you or whatever. But the problem is, and this is what we were talking about earlier, Chris, when the public is asked to help and then no information is provided, then people, because of social media, and social media is here to stay, unfortunately, this never used to be a problem, never, until social media. And it's terrible. I will be the first one to admit it's terrible. But let us help you clear it up, okay? So you don't own a cemetery and you don't own a funeral home. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, everybody stop with that bullshit. All right.
Here, let me add this to the thing. We don't own a private plane. We don't own 78 pieces of property.
Mm-hmm.
We don't own a private yacht. What else do you guys want to come up and say that we own?
Nobody
like
said
we're
that.
millionaires or something. Like we've got this money growing off trees, which, by the way, it'd be great if we did, because I guarantee we wouldn't need anybody's help because he'd have been home by now.
Right. No, I understand. No, I completely understand. Okay. But understand, when the public is asked to help with social media, this is what social media does. And it can be your
worst nightmare
or your best friend.
Yes.
And let us help it. And I can give you examples. I can have you talk to people that have said, yes, the people at Web Sleuths, they've helped us. They've been great. Okay. Yes. But hey guys, I understand why Chris is angry, because it's coming 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Horrible crap about him. Okay. And his family. I get the anger. So we're going to help you. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to let my cat out before she drives everybody crazy. So I apologize. So hang on. Chloe, is there anything you'd like to say while I let my cat out before she drives me nuts?
I will ask the question. I'll actually read you the message I sent you. This was March 17th. Good afternoon, Chris. I wrote this in a chat you're involved with, but I'm worried it may be lost because there's so much chatter. First, let me say I'm a Tennessee private investigator and have been praying and actively bringing awareness to Sebastian from day one. His case is near and dear to my heart. I had a question. I know Sebastian went to his dad's every other weekend or so. Did you come home on those weekends? Not a specific date, but just in general. Or did Katie come and stay with you? Are you often gone during the week? Just curious about Sebastian's day-to-day dynamic with his parents. And then I messaged you again after I posted that question publicly. You asked me to post it publicly, and I did, and then I wasn't answered. And I said, hey, Chris, just messaging again. So it'll be at the top. I know you said you get a ton of messages.
So, and again, we understand that you get a ton of messages. We absolutely understand that. Is there somebody else in our chat room? I can't see it.
Heather.
Heather, do you want to come up? I guess she does.
I'm here.
She's been there.
Okay. Oh, hi, Heather. I didn't see you there.
Hi.
Okay.
There's a lot of talk. I didn't really have a chance to say hello.
And this Heather is the other private investigator.
Yeah, I know who Heather is.
Okay. Heather, would you like to say anything?
Nobody asked you, Chris.
Well, so I spoke with them earlier today, and obviously, as you know, Mr. Proudfoot did message me and ask for a number so he could come in. And I think that it is past due. I think that it's a good thing for Mr. Proudfoot to address some of the allegations that are being made. I would like to have the opportunity, like I said to him earlier today, it's good for us, Chloe and I, to have access to them, to be able to, when we get this information, instead of having to go around them.
Lisa P., I was thinking about that very same comment today. CP and his comment, this case will be studied for years. That comment has never left my mind. Yeah, it doesn't leave mine either. Yeah. I mean, it's like it's a very confident statement in my opinion, and it shows that they know more, and well, that Chris knows more in my opinion. That means he doesn't think that, Sebastian's coming home, unfortunately.
To other sources to try to get the answers to those questions, to actually be able to come to him for those answers and try to clear them up directly. So I'm glad he's here. I really am. Even though he's
I am too. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled.
I'm glad he's here, and I've spoken to him before, and he's been very upset with me before. But once he calms down, I think maybe we can get somewhere. Maybe we can get somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's address something real quick with your viewers who say I'm drunk and belligerent. No, I'm just a pissed off dad. So let's get that real clear.
Hey, everybody, if any, mods.
So if you want to keep your comments and that's how your audience wants to play this game,
no.
Then no, I'm not going to clear up anything or turn the chat off. If you want to clear this up, let's get it right. And let's take all the stupid people out of this equation and answer the deals.
Okay, Chris, hang on. Mods, if anybody says anything rude about any of our guests, I want you to ban them, kick them out. Okay?
It's like this. If you ain't got nothing factual about me to say, keep your mouth shut.
Well, okay, but Chris, they don't know if it's factual.
Exactly. Okay? So that's the best recommendation I can give them.
Well, but they want to ask questions, and let me tell you why.
Questions are one thing, not a statement where I'm belligerent and I'm drunk, because guess what, folks? I can read the comments that you post.
I know. And I'm telling everybody, if anybody says anything rude, they're booted from chat. Mods, if you could boot them. Stacy, could you get Ping over here to help us?
I think they're going to need more than just Ping to help out with this one. I think they're going to need an old priest and a young priest, an old priest and a young priest, and they'll have to come in like on The Exorcist and say, the power of Christ compels you.
Welp, that turned into a real shit show. All right, guys. So that was my commentary. Give me just 1 second because I'm going to skip over the commentary quickly. Now, we start out the interview with Chloe, and she is talking about how she has spoke with the sheriff's office, and they have said that the family is very cooperative. She also says that they like to dodge questions about alibis and timelines. And Chloe says that they won't release a missing persons report. So she also confirms that no one is cleared and no one is a suspect, and that is per Sumner County. They're baffled, and I have to agree. They look like a deer in the headlights to me anytime they've ever come on to speak about any of the details on what they think happened to Sebastian. Now we're going to go over the timeline and Chris's alibi in a moment. But before we do that, I just want to go back and rewind it back to Katie's interview with Chronicles of Olivia on March 18th, 2024, and her interview with Duchess for the Missing, which took place on March 17th, 2024. I just want you to hear it straight from Katie's mouth, her accounts of what happened. Let's watch.
He doesn't like to be dirty. It's kind of funny because he also doesn't have awareness. Because if you look, he's got chocolate milk on his face because he didn't wipe it off at breakfast. It's funny like that.
Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece. Yeah, I got a call and asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks.
I had to slow that the copyrighted music, guys.
We went to the bowling alley. And then from there, we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. He come out of his room where he was playing. And he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." He went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock I went to wake him up for school Monday morning. And that's when he went in here.
Katie adds the detail about Sebastian taking out the trash and also that she drove around.
To censor myself, holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, you know, where the F is he, you know. I had looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, you know, walls and watch, you know, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat. But I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband, and I said, "I can't find him." And he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "He's not in this effing house. I can't find our son." And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already like, at this point I was like hysterical and I was crying, I was screaming, and he was like, three-wayed. He three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them like, our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, "Go back to the house. They're on their way." And I drove back to the house. And 20 days later, we found him.
Okay, guys, so I just wanted to pop in here. Hey, Town Chat Cafe, good to see you. So, you know, again, Katie's saying we three-wayed, right? She even tapped it out on the table. We three-wayed, but then she says, "Chris told me to go back to the house, so I drove," drove back to the house, she says, right? So right there again, the story doesn't add up. She can't get it right to save her life because it's a lie. She drove around with her window up. She sure did. She drove around with her window up, and we have her going this way. We have her going this way. I'm just kidding, guys. I made it so the photo goes that way, right? But it's still, I mean, she was driving up and down the street, right, with the window rolled up. 6:20. The bus was coming around. Didn't stop for the bus. Didn't stop over at the fire department. Didn't stop at the school. She just drove around the parking lot, including, according to Chloe PI. You know, we're just piecing it together. She's going like 40 miles an hour, you know. Colossal popcorn also as popcorn. Yeah. Elisa P, yes, to distract from and protect those who did this for him. Well, and Kathy Bauer sucks because CPS case still open when custody court for Faith around the corner. I think that has a lot to do with it too. And they bring that up too in the interview. She sounds ridiculous. I don't know how anyone listens to this and can't tell she's making it up, in my opinion. I mean, I agree. Poor excuse for mother, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, and again, she keeps saying that Chris had to tell her to go back, but if she was on mute on the three-way call, then she could have heard that the officers were being dispatched to the house and for her to go back. She always adds Chris into the equation, right? She's the one doing that. Yeah, it's like a memorized list. Exactly, Retha Bell. Very well said. Like a memorized list. And it is gross when we first watch it, and then her blaming Sebastian, you know. Oh, look, he has no self-awareness. Well, neither do you, Katie, because your story isn't straight.
Yeah. Sunday morning, I'll just start at the morning. Sunday morning, we got up and I made a fun breakfast for us, spaghetti pancakes. Google it, y'all. We FaceTime family while we were eating so he could brag because that's something he likes to do. And we were laughing and joking on FaceTime and having a good time with that. After breakfast, we got a call to go pick up our niece and go take her to meet up. So we did that. We went and picked her up and we met her mom at BJ's. And we were there with family members. We come home and put our groceries away. And then a little bit later, we went to the bowling alley, a local bowling alley here, and we played games. And then and this is just Bubba and I, and we went to dinner, just the two of us, and then come home. He took the trash out because that's his chore. And he come in and he was playing in his room until bedtime. And at bedtime, I told him, I said, hey, Bubba, it's time to go to bed. And he goes, okay, good night, Mama, I love you. And then he said goodnight to his puppies. And he went to bed.
Okay. And walk me through what happened. You said that you were on a phone call, you were on the couch, and then you went to bed at midnight. Walk me through exactly what transpired during that time before you went to bed at midnight for you.
So, well, my husband, he works out of town a lot. So we normally sit and talk every evening. And I normally fall asleep on him. And he'll tell me, wake up, you got to go to bed. And and that was right around midnight. So I got up and I put the puppies up and I went to bed myself at midnight. And, I went to sleep, obviously. And then at 6 a.m., I went to wake him up for school. And that's when I couldn't find him. And sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Take your time. Take your time. Tell me, did Sebastian take any type of medication before he went to bed, or that would make him sleepy? Or if he did take medication, it was just in the morning, or did he take medication at night before he went to bed?
He did take medication nightly and daily.
Okay.
Just for HIPAA reasons, we will not disclose
I
what
understand.
the medication is.
If there was something that might have made him sleepy, like if he would have woken up, I'm just all these different questions that people have asked. So,
right.
But you don't have to disclose any particular. Nobody needs to know that, specifically. I just wanted to ask.
Well, I tell you this.
With someone. Okay.
We didn't find any signs of the windows, but and without disclosing the details of my door locks, I will say that Sebastian regularly and consistently went out and locked the door behind himself.
Okay.
I honestly didn't notice anything that was like, oh my God, that's weird. I mean, we had a really good day. He wasn't in trouble at all. We went to bed on a good note. And I don't know if maybe he just wasn't saying something, but nothing. And I've gone over this so many times. I'm ill, but I didn't see or notice anything that was like red flag, No.
Oh, sorry, guys. I muted myself. Yeah, and that's exactly right. Deborah Bennett says HIPAA does not cover a person talking about their medication. The agency protects any person from accessing medical records. So he's full of poop. I agree. And, it's nothing that anybody is bound by. And not only that, he absolutely could give this medication, right? Sorry, guys, it's really scary. But that's kind of how I feel about Chris, you know. He's creepy as hell to me. You know, and he's very triggering. Kind of like the scariest story I read when I was a kid was this book. You know, and his mother's sitting right next to Katie is sitting there and she was asked that question and Chris took over, right? But we don't know what they're doing back there. We don't know if Katie's saying, take over, right? We don't know if this is all staged. Again, I mean, you know, when we're looking back at these things, this all could have been, you know, planned out. Yeah, exactly. He's much more than just his autism diagnosis. I agree. Social butterfly, absolutely. You know, and then Chris says things like that are very insensitive. Like, let me just share this.
Very high functioning.
I mean, and that's why, like, I was trying to just put it out there. Is like everybody has come up with this idea, and that's not the case. People would know Sebastian. Like, if we had never said he was autistic, people would not have a clue that Sebastian was autistic. They would thought something was wrong with him, and not ever said autism.
Right. And you know what? If he
Okay, guys. So yeah, that's what Chris Proudfoot. That's one of the nicer times he said something about Sebastian like that. Now we heard from his teacher earlier, right, Patricia Szymanski, and she said that if you saw Sebastian walking down the street, it would be like he had no deficits at all. You wouldn't be able to tell. So no, you know, that's not true, Chris.
It's hit or miss.
But like he'll be doing really, really great for a few weeks, and then all of a sudden he'll flip the switch again, and he's doing really great. He just goes through.
I understand that
it's like
completely. Trust me.
Okay, well, I really don't understand that because it looked like Sebastian was very well behaved at the Texas Roadhouse. I don't know why they would have been choosing some behavioral schools for Sebastian. In my opinion, if he was having trouble, they should have been looking into schools that help children in therapies for autism, right? And he also has a rare chromosome deletion. Okay, so there's a lot of things that Sebastian probably struggled with, you know, throughout his life because of that. Um, yeah, something for autism, but they were looking at behavioral schools. Hey, Whitney Manson, good to see you. And yeah, Chris needs behavioral school, in my opinion, as well. You know, CP is a narcissistic, well, is narcissistic in my opinion, and he's a psychopath. I agree. I mean, just he can never say something nice about Sebastian either. Yes, Rodney and Katrina says he's also high functioning. He wasn't even diagnosed till the year before he went missing. Yeah, and a lot of times that's what's hard, right? Plus, whenever I did look up Sebastian's rare chromosome deletion, a lot of the symptoms also mirror autism symptoms, right? Symptomology or however you want to put it. I'm not a doctor, but when I googled it, y'all, I did find that, right, that there was like, oh, okay, well, this comes with this set of struggles and this set of struggles, right? And it's the same ones for autism and for the chromosome deletion. So, I mean, Chris has ODD. I agree. Oppositional defiant disorder. Yeah, he does. He does. So, I mean, he's weird. He is creepy, Elisa. I agree. He went to the bathroom at the Texas Roadhouse. My opinion, abuse from CP more ways than one, in my opinion. I agree with that too, Nisi. I wish there was more proof of that. I really do, because I fear that very strongly, especially with that song that he exposed him to. Especially with that. And he was bragging about it. Speaking of bragging, we hear that from Chris all the time, the bragging. Yeah, a straight jacket would help. You know, he sure acts like it, Deborah says. Yeah, or, lover girl says to Deborah. I think he regressed not because of autism. I think he regressed because he was abused. Just my opinion, though. I think that too. I honestly think that Sebastian was going through a lot, right? And that was part of the reason why he would go in and out. And instead of Katie recognizing that, she allowed for it, right? Whether it was because she was being abused too or whatever, it doesn't really matter. The point is that it happened that way. And she absolutely was given an ultimatum, and we heard that also spoke about by Chloe Pi in that interview. You know, she said it before he came up there. She said, "Look, you know, people have confirmed that to me that Chris and Katie were not having the best relationship, right? Marriage on the rocks, however you want to say it." Hey, Carla, good to see you. So,
Progress, backpedal, you know, but it,
Now, when I saw on social media, some people were talking about Seth that he recently spoke on, and he was talking about how at the end of the school year, Sebastian was supposed to come and live with him. And can you tell us anything about that?
And why he hurt her so badly. He replied, because fear lasts longer than love. Go over the timeline that Katie has told us, and now this is coming from all of the
okay, guys, so I think that's just commentary from me. Let me just double check. It's been a while. Like I said, this is an older video, and it reminded me of it. Like, nobody's looking, nobody's watching. Um, oh, okay. Well, this is something. Here are some notes. Chris sprayed Sebastian with the pressure washer, and Sebastian got upset and he yelled at Katie to come get her. R word on neighbor's camera given to TBI allegedly. Neighbor said Katie only drove around for 10 minutes looking for him that morning. They allegedly made Sebastian sleep on a mattress in the garage because Chris was tired of smelling pee. Chris used to yell, "He goes or I do," at Katie. The ultimatum, right? We talked about the ultimatums, and it's been stated in different ways than that as well, right? It's him or me, he goes or I do. Those are pretty specific comments. The neighbor said it was normal for Chris to sometimes come home on the weekends to take care of things. CPS case in February is from neighbors reporting Sebastian was being made to sleep in the garage. Allegedly, obviously, guys. Neighbors turned in their footage but haven't heard from LE recently. Right, and I'm pretty sure I was reading that out. And I don't know what these are. Let me see. Oh, okay, this is talking about Tony Mathis. Now, this is back when Tony Mathis first started out. And I wasn't a fan of Tony Mathis, but I saw how he kind of stuck with Seth. Now, this is something, let me make sure I'm paused. Okay. Can you give us an idea of what an appropriate time frame, excuse me, is on warrants being issued? Will it be days or weeks or months? Justice Warrior Investigations is also Heather's firm, right? I really can't because I don't know what they're doing or how fast they're moving on the information, right? So it's just a lot, guys. It's just a lot. Um, it's a lot, and it's been a lot too. Sorry, I don't want me to be that big. There we go. Um, Prison justice someday. Whoever hurt Sebastian deserves it, you know? Yes, lady, and it's the cat or me. Exactly. Yeah, it's the cat or me. I mean, they put Sebastian through that, and they have the audacity to be like, "He loves cats. He loves cats." That's the first thing that they say. It's so weird to me. But you made him get rid of his cats though. And cuz Katie was obviously okay with the cats if she had two cats, until Chris showed up. So, reading those statements, yeah. That's I mean, it all makes sense, right? When you look over those statements again, because I haven't read those statements in a while. It's been a while. Ah, cool, KJ Mac. I didn't know you were in Europe. My goodness. That's amazing. I love that you know Sebastian's case so well. I'm so grateful to hear that. Thank you, Retha Bell. Yeah, I just thought we'd go over it again because, I'm trying to go back to the beginning and remember some of the things that I've even, forgot. And I mean, we only have the statements. I don't think they're going to be coming out with any more interviews. I mean, maybe they'll do one with Holly Thompson when the 2-year mark comes, if that comes. I'm hoping that doesn't come. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking maybe like they would think, right? I'm trying to put myself in their shoes and it doesn't look like they're going to come out and talk to anybody, unfortunately. I mean, I wish they would. I don't care who they talk to even. I just wish they would come out and talk. Because it does give us more and more insight, even though we're like obviously disgusted by most of the things that come out of Chris's mouth. We also know that he knows more than us. Faye says Sebastian's pattern of behavior shows that he didn't want to leave the house. Actually, exactly the opposite. He searched Google to find out how to deal with bullies. He talked to his teachers, his friends, CPS workers. Right, Faye. That is such a good point. You know, and I do believe that. I believe he just wanted the abuse to stop. I don't think he necessarily wanted to, leave and never see them again. I don't, because kids aren't like that. Kids don't think like that, especially when it's your parents, right? Even a step parent, parent, mom. But then again, when you're a boy and you're older, I've never been a boy, but I mean, I know how I felt as a teenager, and once enough is enough, enough is enough. And you're not going to put up with the crap anymore. And you're like, I'm big enough to, at least bow up to you, right? So that does worry me a lot. Um, but you're right. He was trying to find out how he could deal with the situation that he was in a smart way too. He did. He was researching it. Thank you, Faye. Because yeah, I agree with that. This interview on Web Sleuths and the interview Olivia and Smiley did in the case are all three very important. I understand that too. And, I agree there because each one was a little bit different, but each one we found out more and more. Um, and I think that's another reason that they don't want to come out and talk because they know we're going to find out more and more, especially if someone like the McCoys was to go and meet them face to face. Now, nobody has really done that besides the news, in my opinion, except for Olivia. Olivia did do face to face. I take that back. I think that's the best way to do it. I would want to speak with somebody face to face if I was really going to try to assess them, sure. But I do agree with that. Most definitely. Smiley had a way of keeping them on point because when Chris would try to veer off the subject, Smiley would say, okay, but what about this? But what about what I just asked you? She did a very good job of that, and was able to keep him on subject. Good old Holly Thompson, Lisa P. I know. She's Pollyanna. That's my best example of a Pollyanna. So Hey, Chow. Chow says Retha Bell, Retha Bell. Aw, that's cute. Hey, Asylum. I'm sorry, I was trying to read that and I couldn't read it with the font that it's in. Good to see you. Yeah, so I mean, this is what we're seeing, go on um in the case. And then there was more even after this that kind of unfolded, but I did want to go back to kind of what the PIs were saying. And I mean, that's not even the whole interview because we still have Gray. I didn't know if I still had him in there or not, but I didn't. Because I really do like to do comparisons and, and just kind of show what they've said. I like to show what their words are, that's what's important to me. Because I think that's all we're going to get. And unfortunately, if Eric Craddock keeps this case open and just keeps it to himself, then I feel like we have a bigger problem on our hands there. Just from other, you know, um, just based on other cases, other cases that we've seen. So, um, and yes, Mama's a good friend. Oof. Yeah. And she's always talking about hope. It's like keeping hope alive, right? It's like, I guess, but Katie knows that there, what level of hope to keep. And she looked pretty grim, in my opinion, just kind of looking back. Um, so, but guys, that's all I really have for you all with this rewind. And then we'll kind of continue on with it. I'll pull in my next one too, and we'll go over it tomorrow morning. I'm probably gonna do kind of like maybe a 10:30 morning live. That seems like it was a good time. And no one's cleared in this. No one is. Yeah, Social Butterfly, you're absolutely right. No one is cleared. It's weird that they wouldn't clear anyone at this point. Elisa, I think it's weird. I wonder if they can be compelled to hand the case over for inaction. Yeah, at some point. I'm hoping too. I'm hoping for that too, KJ Mac. I am. That would be really nice if they did that. I've tried to give grace to Katie, but I don't get far when I think back on her behavior and words. I know, and that's the thing. I mean, I think we have to be reminded of it because it is a lot. Even in all of that, like remembering back, it's like all of these points of contention and everything's made to be so confusing, even though it shouldn't be that confusing, right? Like, did the dogs hit or didn't they? Like, there was a bunch of dogs, though. I showed you guys earlier all the footage of the dogs. There was like the little blue ticks, there was like the full bloodhounds, there was dogs for sure. Cadaver dogs obviously weren't used, luminol wasn't used, those types of things. I just kind of wanted you guys to hear that from the PI, so to speak. Thanks, Elisa. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate your insight because I know you have a great memory and you're very knowledgeable with the case. And we all need to remember and remind each other. I mean, because there's so much. Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry I'm on so late. I'm always on, but I've been doing day shows too. Yeah, me too, Retha Bell. And yours too. And you guys are always doing thanks, Vic. Thank you for hitting the like, guys. Yeah, I just love hearing your comments on this, especially when we watch it like when we know what we know now, when we didn't know what we, you know now back then. Um, and it's just a good reminder too. And it's kind of cool to see what you guys think of it watching it back. Oh, watching it back. I don't know what just fell over. That scared the bejesus out of me. Okay. I think maybe Django jumped out of the bed or something. Woo, I'm awake. Everyone sleep well. Justice for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Thank you, Elisa. Thank you. Yeah, well, and that's, I agree with that, Mama Bear. I agree with that. I do. Thank you, Retha Bell. Thank you, Town Chat. Oh, thank you, Town Chat Cafe. Oh, thank you, Social Butterfly. Faye, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Everyone take care. Have a great night. Sleep well. Ciao. Thank you. Thanks, Vic and C Star. You guys all take care. Have a good night. I'll see you in a little bit.